We're at Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts, where the Astros were defeated last night by the Red Sox. And in the process, they've now dropped 6 straight road games. In the effort to turn things around, the Astros send ace Dallas Keuchel to the hill. Last night, the Red Sox came from behind, put 14 hits and 9 runs on the board, and just a little too much offense here at Fenway, where they lose once again, the Astros do. Yeah, they seem to be stung here a little bit. It was that 6th inning last night that got the Astros. 7 runs in that 1 inning, knocking Feldman out and a couple other guys out of that bullpen. A rough night. David Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia, a couple of guys at the top of the order for the Red Sox, were big last night and put up some very good numbers. Yeah, this should be no surprise to Houston Astros fans. Ortiz's average against the Astros on his career is at .397, .478 for Dustin Pedroia. So really no shock watching these guys go out there and line hits all over the place. 3 RBIs last night, 2 runs scored between those guys. But really, no matter if the shift is on or not, they're going to find a way to get a hit. So we mentioned that Dallas Keuchel goes to the mound. He is the stopper for the club and the ace of the pitching staff. It's good to see him go back out, despite the fact that he had a rough one last time out. He had 3 very good ones prior to that. The slider seems to be fluctuating a bit, though. Yeah, it does. That was a one pitch coming out of spring training that really turned him around and made him into that ace for the Houston Astros staff. He's got 10 wins on the season, but you can see that slider good early on, low average, low ERA, but progressively through the season, that ERA and the slider average is going up against him. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with fatigue. Last year he had 153 and 2/3 innings pitched. Right now, coming into tonight's game, he's got 149 and 1/3 innings pitched. So he's encroaching on a spot he hasn't been in his career so far. So look to see him try and work down and really stay on top of that baseball to be effective down in the zone against these Boston Red Sox hitters. It was the Poppy and Pedroia show last night at Fenway. Now it's Chris Carter's turn to answer the bell and power the Astros to victory. Can he take down the monster and turn back the Red Sox? We'll find out straight ahead. That is presented by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's new Spicy Chicken Club Combo for only $4.99 plus tax. And by AT&T UVerse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. mobilizing your world. Less is more. The Astros have another chance to put some demons to rest tonight. And Julia Morales tells us why they need their leadoff hitter doing less at the plate to reach their goals. More on Robbie Grossman and the Stros when we come back.
Game set. It's the home of the Green Monster, the very popular high left field wall, 37 feet, just a couple of inches. I'm up here now enjoying this view. It's definitely a unique view. As you can see, there's seats up here. One of the toughest tickets to get around town to be a Red Sox fan, but very, very cool up here. And the Astros, taking in the mystique of this ballpark when they arrived yesterday, but since then it's been all business. And the business tonight for the Houston Astros is to get that 51st win of the season. They're sitting at 50 right now. 51 would tie them with last year's win total. And if you compare 2013 to 2014, here's what you get. Up until this point, we're 123 games in last year. They hadn't gotten the 40th win at that point, and they didn't get 51 until September 13th of last season. You see the run differential. Wow, it's definitely improved there. The Astros not getting blown out near as much this season. The homers are up. The starters' ERA is much. It's down. It's gone down significantly, and the starters have been much better this season than they were last year. Looking ahead to tonight, though, Robbie Grossman will lead off for the Astros, as he has done recently, and he's been doing really well at that. Last 7 games, you see the numbers good as far as on base percentage. You see him drawing some walks, having some great at bats in that leadoff role, and a few things that he's been working on when John Naley as far as his swing goes, so he's feeling much better at the plate all around. He is taking a lot of pitches, and I know that's something Alan Ashby's been talking about lately. It's something he'll probably get into as the game goes on, but I see the team taking the field from where I'm standing. I'm going to send it way across the field to you guys in the booth to get us ready.
Thanks a lot, Julia, and that's a great way to get us ready. The Astros have made a roster move today, recalling left-hander Kevin Chapman from AAA Oklahoma City, and in the process sending LJ Hose down to AAA. So good luck to LJ on his battle to try to get back with the ball club. So Bo Porter has a little different roster to work with tonight. The Astros start the night 50-72, as Julia said, gunning for that 51st win on the year. Boston Red Sox are 55-65 as they start the night, 10 games under 500. Very unusual for the Red Sox to be in that position after being the world champs just last year. So here's a look at the Astros lineup tonight, presented by Jack in the Box. That lineup for Bo Porter, Robbie Grossman in the top spot. He's in left. At second, Jose Altuve, and the DH is Chris Carter. Middle three, center fielder Dexter Fowler, Jason Castro behind the plate, and John Singleton's at first. And the bottom three, Matt Dominguez at third. In right field, it's Jake Marisnick. And at short, Marwin Gonzalez.
On the mound for the Boston Red Sox is Clay Buchholz. Last time the Astros saw him, he threw a complete game. Pitched extremely well. Numbers on the season aren't exactly great for him. Set a career high and season high with strikeouts against the Astros, striking out 12. Young man just turned 30 yesterday from Lumberton, Texas. Looking to turn things around. He hasn't won a game since July 18th. Last 4 games have gone pretty rough for him, losing all 4 of them. Got himself a fastball, cutter, curveball, changeup, got it all. Some big numbers.
That July 18th game was the next start following facing the Astros, and he was great in Houston. 9 innings shutout ball, just 3 hits allowed and 12 strikeouts, season high there. And he needed only 109 pitches to get that done. Clay Buchholz has had a complete reversal of fortunes from last year. Last year, he put up some terrific numbers. Among those great numbers, a 1.74 ERA while going 12-1 for the Red Sox in that World Championship year. And he allowed just 75 hits in 108 1/3 innings last year. So he was awfully tough to get to, but that's changed again this year, as Blummer was talking about. 132 hits allowed now in under 110 innings. So batting average against pretty steep. The Astros trying to figure him out tonight, unlike what they did that previous start at Houston. So we're set to go. Robbie Grossman will step in. In fact, Clay Buchholz is a 2-time All-Star. He has played all of his 8 years in the big leagues with the Red Sox, and he brings a strike at the knees to start it.
Over his last 5 starts, which include that win on the 18th, he has a 7.50 ERA. He's given up 25 earned runs in 30 innings pitched.
He was 6th in the Cy Young voting back in 2010. He went 17-7 that year. Good curveball for a strike. It's 0-2.
If he's paying the edges like that with fastball, curveball, it could be a long evening for Astros hitters. A great pitch.
Julia mentioned that I have talked about Robbie taking pitches, and it's part of what he does to draw walks. He takes strike 3. He took a couple of those last night. Caught looking to start things. And out number 1 here in the first inning.
You can take all the pitches you want, but when you get a 2-strike counts, you got to protect somehow. The pitch we saw last night that he struck out looking with runners in scoring position was close. This one's close in an 0-2 count. And the last thing you want to do is put it in that umpire's hands and have him ring you up.
And in particular, when you've got men in scoring position, he had one of those at bats last night. I believe it was no outs and runners at second and third, and wound up striking out looking. It's just expansion time a bit. So 1 out. Jose Altuve stands in, still leading the league in hitting. What a year being had by Jose Altuve. Takes that first fastball in the dirt at 92. 337 the batting average. Next best in the American League is Robinson Cano at 329, followed by Michael Brantley, Victor Martinez, and Adrian Beltre. Altuve also leading in hits. He has a 12-hit margin over second place. A ball and a strike on Jose. Crowd still filling in here at Fenway Park. Just a beautiful venue. Red Sox had it their way last night, winning it 9-4. Jose drives one in the air, right center field. Back and under is Bradley. And out number 2.
We saw Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field for the Boston Red Sox. We'll see who's playing on either side of him. Yoenis Cespedes in left field. Brock Holt, who played shortstop last night, is out there in right field. Around the infield, Will Middlebrooks at third. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop. Dustin Pedroia and Mike Napoli on the right-hand side. And Christian Vasquez back behind the plate, working with Clay Buchholz.
With 2 down, the base is empty for Chris Carter. Carter had one of those nights last night. He has been a red-hot hitter, as we've talked about so much. That little slider cutter on the outside edge. popped up a few times and took an 0 for. Carter hitting .230. He was 0 for 4 last night. It's a good looking breaking ball. It's 0-2.
Seen a couple of good ones early on from Clay.
Apparently the radar goes off for Clay Buchholz when he faces the Astros, because he was brilliant in that 3-hit shutout against them at Houston.
There's a couple of Red Sox that do quite well against Astros. Pedroia, Big Poppy.
Pedroia had 3 hits last night. Poppy had another pair. They had 14 hits overall.
Yeah, it was just crazy career numbers against them. But yeah, pretty dominating effort from Clay last time at Minute Maid.
Carter gets a piece. And gets a piece of the catcher Vasquez in the process.
Bounced back towards the pitcher. Squared him up nicely.
We were having a little chat before the game tonight and just kind of laughing about the green monster in left field and its height. It's 37 feet plus, right?
2 inches.
2 inches
Yep.
on top of 37 feet. It looks like it should lay from home plate across the mound and somewhere towards second, but obviously 37 feet is not going to get that done. But visually, there is no way that you can look at that green monster and think, okay, you can lay that comfortably between home plate and the mound.
Yeah, from bottom to top, 37 feet, 2 inches. It would not get to the pitching rubber.
60
That's
feet,
hard to
6
believe.
inches. Yeah.
It might be one of the best optical illusions I've ever seen.
Yeah, if you sit here in this ballpark and you ask anybody that question, the response we've gotten, everybody's starting to say, well, it's going to go across the mound and somewhere between the mound and second base. That's what it looks like, but apparently not the case.
Yeah, we need our graphics engineer to somehow superimpose that beast on the field and see how it measures up.
Yeah, take that from bottom to top and think about laying that between home plate and the pitching rubber.
I'm not sure I'd be comfortable standing where Julia was earlier.
Yeah, she's got a lot of guts. The Astros go down 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts in the first inning. Clay Buchholz is on the money, and Dallas Keuchel has the assignment tonight to get the Astros going here at Fenway Park. As he will face the Boston Red Sox tonight and try to quell the riot that took place last night. Lineup for the Red Sox: Brock Holt is in right field tonight, as Blummer mentioned. Dustin Pedroia at second, and the DH David Ortiz. Middle three: Yoenis Cespedes in left. At first, Mike Napoli and Xander Bogaerts at short. And the bottom three: third baseman Will Middlebrooks, Jackie Bradley Jr. in center, and doing the catching, Christian Vasquez.
And it's going to be Dallas Keuchel for the Houston Astros. 10-game winner for the Houston Astros, making his 23rd start on the season. ERA still hovering around 3.07, even though we showed you early on that the ERA is starting to climb a little bit. Maybe a little bit of fatigue getting underneath that slider, flattening it out, leaving it out over the zone. But it's a game of adjustments, and hopefully Dallas is somebody that's on top of it and can do it here in Boston.
So Keuchel versus Brock Holden. The first pitch, a fastball in for a strike. Brock Holden, another couple of hits against Houston last night. He was 2 for 4 with a double. Drove in a run, drew a walk, and just doing what he's done against the Astros. Lifetime of 450 mark against Houston. Hits one on the ground, back up the middle, shift on, and Marwin makes the play in the first out of the night.
Nice play, too, by Marwin, who's back out there at shortstop. And here at Fenway Park, we'll take a jaunt around the field and see who's playing behind Dallas Keuchel. In the outfield, you got Robbie Grossman in left, Dexter Fowler in center, Jake Marisnick in right field. Around the infield, Domingo and Margot on the left, Altuve and Singleton on the right, and Jason Castro behind the dish.
That'll bring up Dustin Pedroia. He has done quite well against Houston on his career as well. He takes a strike. A 478 mark against Houston pitching, 33 for 69, 8 doubles and a home run mixed in. And I guess you can call that a good body of work, hitting 285 on the year. He's actually been a better road hitter this year than he has been at home, not by a wide margin, hitting 278 here at the Fens, and just a couple of home runs this year. 5 overall for Pedroia. John Farrell, the skip. Second year with the Red Sox. His first year was magical as he won the world title. Managed 2 years in Toronto prior to coming over here.
Looks like a new man.
Yeah, said this was his dream job. Slider grounded, diving stop by Matt Dominguez. Gets up and fires in the dirt and picked by Singleton. Heck of a play by Big John, who's had a tough go in terms of picking balls in the dirt.
Yeah, that was a little surprising to me. What's a little surprising to me is that Pedroia had a beard last night, got 3 hits, shaves. Turns out he gets robbed. Good to see Singleton finally get a hold of one of those throws over there at first base and pick up his infielders.
This is one of those long in between ones. That's much more difficult than the short one just in front of the glove. A very nice play on both ends. Matt Dominguez and John Singleton. 2 outs here in the first. David Ortiz stands in. Big Papi had a night last night. Batting average down, but the power game still strong for Papi. 26 bombs on the year, 85 ribbies, and a 247 mark. Drove in that 85th last night, had a pair of hits in 5 at-bats. Keuchel gets in front. 0-2 the count. Dallas Keuchel and Clay Buchholz. Nice matchup on paper. Buchholz this year has had his struggles, but you couldn't prove that by the way the Astros have dealt with him. Big Papi lifetime against the Astros, a 397 hitter. And they've got some guys who have just torn up Houston pitching. 5 doubles along the way, 3 home runs, 468 on base percentage. Slider, the bat starts, goes through, and a 1-2-3 first with a strikeout for Keuchel. So a couple of 1-2-3 innings as we go to the second in a scoreless game.
Photos using hashtag CSNH fan photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. That is brought to you by AT&T, guys.
Thanks a lot, Julia. Scoreless ball game. We played just one inning. It'll be Dexter Fowler, Jason Castro, and John Singleton against Clay Buchholz here in the second inning. A lot of Astros fans have made their way to Boston.
Not sure if they're from Houston. They're not all bundled up. It's 67 degrees here. You'd think they'd have a little overcoat or something on. Freezing.
Apparently that's George Springer's grandmother.
Nice.
We are told.
He's from up in this area.
Imagine she's highly disappointed not to get to see George play in the series.
Bet you George is eating pretty good if he gets to go over to Grandma's house.
Can you imagine the display he might have been able to put on here with the monster?
Yeah, they might have had to shut down that parking structure in left field behind the wall.
2 balls, no strikes on Dexter Fowler. The Astros 0-8 in their brief careers at Fenway Park. They were 0-3 in interleague play back in 03 and 0-4 last year. And they've started out this year that way. The only other major league team to go winless in another ballpark in each of their first 9 games anyway. Colorado Rockies at Rogers Center in Toronto. So that's not good company. It's actually the Astros' second worst, or rather Houston's second worst start in any major league stadium in franchise history. Dexter Fowler draws the leadoff walk. He's aboard for Jason Castro.
Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to. Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Mentioned that great last start that Buchholz had against the Astros at Minute Maid Park. And that's the way he went about business. 33% fastballs. Of course, the cutter is a version of a fastball.
Pretty good distribution.
From the warehouse of Buchholz. Little cutter right there is inside.
I like it.
Mentioned that the Houston franchise has actually had a worse start in another stadium. That was the Colt 45s, who lost their first 12 games at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia, 62 and 63. So this version of the Astros don't want to go after that record.
That must have been a tough stretch for you guys.
Oh, please. You lay off now, you big bully.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I thought about it, debated, but it happened.
As in multiple times.
The door's open. I'm going to go through it.
1 ball and no strikes on Castro. Fowler held on by Napoli as the pitch is fouled back. We've mentioned the Red Sox being 55 and 65 this year. That's their worst record through their first 120 games of a season since 1992. They were 55 and 65 that year. John Farrell has had a lot to work on this year. Had a lot to work with last year. And we mentioned last night the Red Sox led the American League in numerous offensive categories a year ago, including runs scored. But they have been dead last here this season.
It's amazing. You can almost, it's basically a 2-run difference between the runs they were scoring last year and this year.
Over 6 runs a game last year.
It's incredible.
And they're under 4 runs a game this year. 2 balls and a strike. Dexter Fowler has only stolen 6 bags on the year. By the way, Clay Buchholz has put together quite a winning percentage in his young career to this point. .659 winning percentage ties him with Max Scherzer of the Tigers for 3rd highest among major league pitchers with over 60 decisions. Clayton Kershaw and CC Sabathia have the best. Hot shot, a fair ball down the right field side. Fowler will head for third. Stopping at first is Castro, as getting it back in is Brock Holt. A walk and a single, and the Astros have runners at the corners. Nobody out in the second. John Singleton coming to the plate.
Good to see Castro turn on the ball. Maybe things moving in the right direction. Buchholz misses his spot by a good ways. Nice short, quick stroke getting to the ball by Castro, and turned on this one. There's that funky corner down by pesky pole too. Kind of shoots back to Brock Holt out there, holding Fowler at third and Castro at first.
And Brock Holt has been all over the place defensively for the Red Sox. A very valuable player. John Singleton at the plate, hitting .186 with 10 homers and 35 ribbies. Chance to put the Astros in front. He takes the breaking ball for a strike. Taking a peek down to Pat Listash, who flashes out signs. Listash now goes over and chats with the lead runner, Dexter Fowler. Buchholz slows it down considerably with men on base as he misses away. A ball and a strike. And we talked about that great year for Buchholz last year. The 1.74 ERA was the lowest among 145 major league pitchers with at least 100 innings pitched last year. But now the turnaround to this year, 599, highest among 119 pitchers who've thrown at least 100 innings. Fly ball down the right field side, hooking down the line, and goes well outside of that pesky pole. So I guess you could say if one player reflects the team that he plays for and how things have turned from last year to this year, it would be Clay Buchholz with the Red Sox. One and two on Singleton.
Tell you what, Singleton can go out and get around a pitch, can he?
Really can. And then he showed in the last homestand the ability to go to left field with power. A couple of shots to the Crawford boxes. Strike three called, outside corner painted, and there's a costly first out, caught looking.
Again with the runner on third, but right now we've got time for the AT&T Rewind. Going back to last night. Fastball got away, and Matty D was up for it. Dropped the head on it. Actually drove it out to the probably one of the deepest parts over the Green Monster out there. That second light stander, left center field. He can be streaky.
14 bombs on the year, gave him 50 RBIs on that two-run shot, hitting .231. Hits the slider on the ground. This should be 2. 6, 4, and 3, and the Red Sox get it. And they turned a couple of those last night. So that does it. As the Astros fail in their bid to score, they leave 2 on.
of the second. Dallas Keuchel goes back to work, and in that last start he had 3 great innings before he struggled in the last 3 innings that he worked. He allowed 5 runs on 6 hits in those final 3. Just lost command on the mound, and Brent Strawn, the pitching coach, told me earlier, he said, I had no concern over Dallas Keuchel. He's human. But here's what Keuchel had to say about that last start. It's our Geico quote of the day. I haven't really lost that feel in a while, and that was just the most frustrating part about it. I felt like I was in control and just lost control. We've seen Dallas Keuchel bounce back from things like this, so hope to see that again tonight, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Julia. And it does happen. I mean, it's part of the game. He's had some brilliant moments over the course of the year, no question about it. And the 3 starts prior to that last one we're talking about, and that last one against the Texas Rangers, 5 earnings in 6 innings. Those 3 previous starts had been just spectacular. He went 7 shutout against Miami and picked up a loss in that one as he allowed a couple of runs unearned. Shouldn't have said shutout, but no earnings against him. 1 run against him in each of the next 2. One of those a complete game, the other 7 innings. He was just tremendous in that span. Trying to get it back together, and he brings a strike at the knees.
It's a roller coaster ride. For these pitchers pitching every 5th day, you're making adjustments. You got to sit down for 5 days and think about that last start.
Keeps it under the knees, gets the count at 0-2. Yoenis Cespedes at the plate. He'll be followed by Mike Napoli and Xander Bogaerts. Dallas impresses me as a guy who's a workhorse and wants the label of being that ace, or somebody that's relied on in that rotation. Brings that slider, keeps it down, gets the ground ball foul. Tammy Lynn gotta make that play. She had the carom, you know, the angle was perfect. Just in and out of the glove. You actually show disappointment on these gals down the line. I have high expectations. They're in full uniform with a glove. I see. Half swing, did he go through? Appeal down to first base, and they get the strikeout. Second strikeout for Keuchel as he gets the first out here in the 2nd inning. Good slider down in the dirt. Got Yoenis, who's seen Dallas Keuchel a couple times, to chase after this one. But I think when you're effective down in the zone, when you see the trajectory on an off-speed pitch down in the zone, you kind of overcommit a little bit, and that's what Yoenis did right there. That was the crew chief, Jim Joyce, making the call down on the first base side. Home plate umpire tonight, Corey Blazer at second, Pat Holberg, and Doug Eddings down at third. Mike Napoli stands in. Battle of the beards. Who wins that one? I got Keuchel, man. This is coming in nice. I get the impression Keuchel could grow a full beard in about 3 days. Yeah, he was clean shaven before we got on the plane yesterday. You look at the head of hair, and this is nothing on the head of hair, but that beard is just like triple the strength. Down and away, it's 3-0 on Napoli. Napoli hitting .265, has 15 homers. Yeah, there we go. So they're casting the part in a movie. They need a well-bearded fella, and you're going to pick Keuchel for that one, huh? Absolutely. Huh? 1-out walk to Napoli. It'll bring up Xander Bogaerts. The Astros face off against in-state rivals, the Rangers, in a 4-game series August 28th through the 31st at Minute Maid Park. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com, or else we're going to sick Ron Washington on you. And you don't want that. Yeah, a little meeting in the office. That's what he's like in public. Imagine the conversation he'd have in his office. Xander Bogaerts, right-hand hitting shortstop. He's played some third as well. Dallas Keuchel, along with pitching down at the knees, he'll gladly work it on that inside edge as he starts Bogaerts. Napoli, not a big threat to run down at first, although he'll occasionally try to pick one. Dallas Keuchel 7 road wins, 1 shy of the American League high this year. That held by a couple guys that might surprise you. Phil Hughes of Minnesota, Rick Porcello also with the Tigers. And now 1-2 the count. With a 1-2-3 first inning tonight, Dallas Keuchel has now gone 49 starts without allowing a first inning homer. Got him swinging. So Dallas Keuchel on his game, picking up strikeouts. That's 3 now. 2 outs. Napoli still at first base for Will Middlebrooks.
He's got good location thus far in the game, but also good movement. Watch this ball just tailing down. Good depth on that ball.
He has struck out Ortiz, Cespedes, and Bogarts. Middlebrooks takes away. One other thing that Keuchel obviously has done really well, along with just simply getting ground balls. He's induced at least 1 double play grounder in 17 of his last 22 starts. It's the ground ball to short. They'll get the force at second. Marwin on to Altuve, and that'll do it for the Red Sox. They leave a man as Keuchel breezes through the second.
Serves it up fresh on Sports Talk Live. That's weeknights at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet. We welcome you back to Fenway Park. It's a living museum. Some pretty cool stuff you can find around the concourse, including this, the Red Sox bullpen cart. This is back in the 70s. This thing they really used. Relief pitchers didn't just jog out onto the mound from the bullpen. They were actually shuttled around the warning track. How about this, baby? I'd like to have the keys and take it for a ride, guys.
This thing was really used. That's what she actually said, as if
we're taking that back to the hotel later.
We played a foreign game back then, apparently, shuttling guys around from the bullpen. Maybe that's coming back. I hear that the new commissioner may be thinking about speeding up the pace of the game. We'll see.
That was one of my ideas. Bring back that cart.
Yeah, I know.
Rifle them onto the field. That'll take a lot of the skits that we see now coming out of the bullpen out of the equation.
You don't get on board, you're going to have to sprint your way in and hopefully get a couple of warm-up pitches in before the clock goes off.
We'll have to go Todd Coffey from the bullpen to the mound.
Todd Coffey.
Remember that?
No.
He would open that door and he'd come out of there. Now keep in mind, Todd Coffey was about maybe 6'2", 320. Might be generous, but he'd come out that door open and he'd be in a full sprint.
I've seen some of those guys.
Sprint
Todd
to
Coffey,
the mound.
Ground ball to third, hit by Marisnik. Middlebrooks with the play, and out number 1 here in the 3rd inning.
But all these ballparks have the bullpens out in the outfield. That would really think about it. You're going to cut down on injuries too, and fatigue. It's a real bonus to the game.
I think you got it wrapped up. I'm ready to go with it.
I'm looking for any excuse.
Marwin Gonzalez will stand in with one out. The Astros have picked up one hit. They've also had a walk. Fowler with the walk, Castro with the base hit. But Buchholz has struck out 3, and he's also gotten a key double play grounded into by Matt Dominguez to end the second. As key as that was, the strikeout ahead of it to John Singleton, caught looking with runners at first and third and nobody out. That was very big. And again, that win for Buchholz against the Astros back on July 13th. 9-inning shutout baseball and just 3 hits for Houston. Fastball in for a strike. It's a ball and a strike on Marwin. That was part of an 11-0 Red Sox win. Brad Peacock started for Houston and took the loss. Jason Castro, Chris Carter, and Robbie Grossman had the only hits. Marwin Gonzalez hitting .268. Been doing a very nice job for the club. Hits one in the air, right center field, and fairly deep. Moving back is Holt, just in front of the warning track. He'll haul it in. Out number 2 here in the third, and back to the top with Robbie Grossman.
I agree with you on Marwin. I think he's playing a solid shortstop. Makes every routine play. He'll dazzle you every once in a while, but he's also putting together some pretty good ABs.
One of the things that I would always say about a shortstop is you want somebody that makes the routine play. That when you feel like you should get an out or 2 outs, double play, you get it. And Marwin's provided that. Robbie Grossman stands in, caught looking in the first. Able to lay off that pitch down and in. For Robbie, the batting average at .203. 5 dingers on his year. That went just away. See the reaction from Vasquez. I think he thought it might be called a strike. 2 balls, no strikes. Robbie was 1 for 5 in last night's game. Spins away and takes a strike. It's 2-1. Also drove in a run last night.
How about the monster cam? Pretty cool shot.
Try to work him in again and miss inside. 3-1 the count. Yeah. Oh, Porter taking it all in. Grossman trying to get aboard as Jose Altuve waits on deck. It's now 3-2, so Robbie continues to take pitches and sees the count run filled. American League leader in hitting, American League leader in hits, and in stolen bases. Right on the hands. It's a fair ball inside the bag and down the line. Grossman digs for second. Holt spins and fires, and not in time. Robbie Grossman on the 3-2 pitch has himself a 2-out double. He's on second for Jose Altuve.
Astro hitters doing a good job of turning on play. Buchholz having some issues trying to hit that outside corner to a couple left-handed hitters. Robbie Grossman able to sneak this one inside the line. Testing that arm of Brock Holt, makes it in.
Double number 8 on the year for Robbie. Chance for the Astros to get on the board. Altuve flied to center field in the first inning, still hitting .337. Taps one foul on the ground.
Look at a heat map comparison between the 2 second basemen here in Boston. Well, no, they're both good hitters, and that tells you if you make a mistake and leave it out over the plate, they're going to annihilate it, which most big league hitters can do. But I think it's kind of interesting to look at Altuve. He likes to expand that zone. He's not real picky. He'll go out of the zone if he's in the right mood. Always got those hands back. You hang one high, he'll turn on it, or he'll go down low and rake you back up the middle.
Reaches out on that smallish cutter slider. Fouls it off to count at 0-2. And this is one of the things that Jose does so well, and he's willing to expand the zone that you talk about. He can handle the pitch off the outside corner, off the inside corner, high and low. And he is, it would seem at times, just as capable of picking up base hits on those pitches as the ones through the middle.
It'd be interesting to talk to opposing pitchers or being in on the meeting when they talk about hitters and see what the approach is against Jose Altuve.
1-2 now. And yet all that talk, Altuve's had his struggles career-wise in just 11 games against the Red Sox. Has a 196 mark. Just 9 for 46 coming in.
Red Sox are the kryptonite.
Can you sing a bar? Here's a drive to center field. That's deep. Bradley going back and gets there to make the play. Just going onto the warning track. Altuve drives it, but that does it for Houston. They leave a man at second on the double.
Up at nothing. Here's our minor league report brought to you by your local Honda dealer. It's Vincent Velasquez, who had a great night at Lancaster. He's actually having himself a pretty good season down there in advance for the Lancaster Jethawks. Tough league to pitch in. That place, wind howling out to right field, but doing a good job of keeping that ball down. We got a 2.54 ERA, and the opponent batting average under 200.
11 strikeouts in a win last night for Velasquez.
I think that warrants some movement, doesn't it?
Quality work.
Woo.
We're scoreless through 2.5. 8-9-1 coming up for the Red Sox. There's Dennis Eckersley.
Ex-teammate, huh? Ash?
Yeah. We in fact, when he came to the big leagues, it was with the Cleveland Indians. I happened to be there at the time, and he was something. Fun effort here by Bradley, and a nice play defensively by Dallas Keuchel. On a pitch, he gets an out.
Athletic from Dallas Keuchel. Cut that ball off, turns into a nice easy out.
Bradley trying to drag one toward the second baseman, just didn't get enough on it. With one out, it brings up the 9-hitter, the catcher Christian Vazquez. He's hitting .236. He is yet to hit a home run in the big leagues. Takes a strike at the knees. Dallas has been steadily down there.
This game getting off to an eerily similar start that it did for Dallas Keuchel's last start.
Good innings early.
Yep. I'm sure he knows that too. It's how he's going to handle it moving past these third and fourth innings.
Well, you can look at the game for Scott Feldman last night.
Yeah.
Good early start. The bats were alive. Pitch is hit sharply, but foul outside the bag.
No. That's not good.
Ball girl down the right field side might have taken one in the face, it appeared.
Yeah, it did. I hope she's all right. That was not good. That ball carried him quickly off the padding down there.
You get those hot rocket shots like that, and very dangerous. Slider tap foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Earlier this year, a couple of months ago, we were chatting with Jason Castro about Dallas Keuchel, and he said basically it's a curveball that Dallas throws now, and he just changes the angles. But as you watch that pitch, I mean, that's a slider.
Yeah.
I don't care what the nomenclature is, what he calls it. That's a slider breaking down and in, that back footer to the right-hand hitter.
Yeah, he just varies the speeds on it. I think it's the same. It's that slider grip that he started out with. It just takes some of the velocity off of it, creates that larger break. The harder one obviously has a little bit sharper break.
As the count at 2-2 on Vasquez. Ground ball sharply hit, backhanded by Marwin, plants and throws, and he's got a gun. Gets the out. A couple of ground ball outs here in the 3rd inning. Dallas starting to do what he does so well. 5 ground ball outs recorded by Keuchel.
Ground ball ratio at 3.21. Best in the major leagues for Dallas Keuchel, and I think that's a credit to how he pitches down in the zone. He's got that good two-seamer down. Slider seems to be always down when he's pitching extremely well.
Back to the top of the order with Brock Holt. He grounded out to Gonzalez back in the 1st inning. And I wanted you, Gomer, to talk through this ground ball, the pickup and everything by Marwin Gonzalez.
Well, it's hit well, and you can see Marwin playing it off that left foot just because he had to go a little bit further, but realizing that Vasquez was running is why he went and planted that right foot to take advantage of that strong right arm.
So when you have that opportunity, take advantage of it.
Absolutely, yeah. He has a great arm for a shortstop, but really take advantage of it and put more behind it when you plant that right foot and allow yourself to follow through.
2-1 the count. And a lot of times you see infielders kind of throw from the side a little bit. You try to get that easy looping throw that you anticipate the sink and the run. But on that type of play, you can see right over the top, just kind of humping the 4-seamer.
Yeah, it's tough to outrun a baseball.
More so for some than others.
That is another true statement.
I was among the some.
I was just going to say, I think we have plenty of experience in that category.
2-2 the count on Holt. Product of Rice University. Ground ball slowly hit. All Matt Dominguez can do is just glove it and eat it at that point. It is an infield single for Holt. First hit for the Red Sox. Comes with 2 outs and brings up Pedroia. So the magic for Brock Holt continues against Houston pitching.
Well, if you're Brock Holt, hits a hit, broke up the no-hitter here early in the game, but if you're Dallas Keuchel, you're like, well, I just made a nasty pitch, and this guy puts his rear end in the dugout, pokes it down to 3rd in a perfect spot. Great big hang with him.
Part of that shifting defense for the Astros. Dustin Pedroia was thrown out by Matt Dominguez in the 1st inning. A heck of a play on his part, but then he threw it in the dirt. And John Singleton made every bit as good a play as he dug it out to get the out. Oh, and 1 the count. Half swing. They'll appeal to first base. And it comes back, palms down. That looked like a bat that went pretty well through. I have a feeling if you peeked at that one from the side, you might consider otherwise.
I have to agree with you just on the initial look.
Pedroia, the big swing as he fouls it off a foot.
Sounded like some pretty solid contact.
Yeah, it did.
Castro going to give Pedroia a breather. Good sportsmanship.
Meanwhile, the two are talking about it, saying, let's come right back down and in with the slider.
Exactly.
Which, of course, if you're a hitter and you've just hit one off the foot or shin, is exactly what you don't want to see. Look at that for 2-strike hits. Those are some really good hitters when you get on that list. Pedroia lays off. It's 2-2.
Elevated fastball. See if he comes back with that slider down and in again.
Rockhold has 6 bags in 8 tries. Just inside now, 3-2. That'll put Hold in motion. And waiting on deck, David Ortiz. So though you don't want to come right after Dustin Pedroia, there are good reasons to make sure you throw a strike. Three-two pitch got him swinging. Keuchel with 4 strikeouts now. He gets through the 3rd inning despite the first hit of the night for the Red Sox. Scoreless game.
It's zeros here in Boston. 2015 Houston Astros season tickets are on sale now. Enjoy some of the best seats at Minute Maid Park. Get the best value and receive great benefits throughout the season. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS now to reserve your seats.
Played 3 innings of scoreless ball. Here was that shot down the right field side that took the ball girl out.
This is not good. Oh. That squared her up nicely, unfortunately. That's terrible. Oh, a memorial in honor of Lori, who was vacated. That helmet took a beating when it flew off her head. That she's all right. That did not look good on the replay, by the way.
A little tough to see right there.
Yikes.
Chris Carter leads it off here in the 4th inning. He's the 3-hitter for Houston. Struck out swinging back in the 1st inning. Next home run he hits will match his total from last year. He's at 28. That shift on for the Red Sox, and Carter now with an 0-2 count. Yeah, I think those girls and even the boys down either side need to know their limitations on that kind of a shot.
Yeah, you just got to run away from that wall and play it after.
Got him swinging. So Carter unable to lay off that slider down and away. Out number 1 here in the 4th inning. 4 strikeouts for Clay Buchholz.
It's not a trend the Astros want to see continue with Chris Carter. That's that black hole that he has a tough time. He may recognize it, but the swing that he has doesn't allow him to get out over that outside corner and hit that pitch. And I think there's a pretty good history between Buchholz and Carter, maybe, that he realizes that he can be beat right there.
And here's my feeling on it, and I don't know if you agree or not, but I don't think that ability to lay off that slider down and out of the strike zone is a matter of saying I'm going to lay off of it. It comes down to being in the right position when you land with the front foot and having your hands in a spot where you can deal with it. Either you can or you can't. And so I think it kind of comes and goes for guys.
Well, Buchholz has a good breaking ball tonight, good slider, but what concerned me was the pitch before on Chris Carter was a breaking ball. It looked like he stayed back, but as he took the swing, his lower half kind of leaked out a little quick for me, and he was off balance when he swung and missed.
And you just described, if the lower half starts to leak, or the lead shoulder or the front elbow starts to make that movement, you're toast on that breaking ball.
And this is a small sample. He's been swinging the bat so well. You hope it's just a glitch in the swing right now, and it's just going to take one more swing to get him locked back in, because right now he feels really good about himself, and he understands what he has to do to correct that, because he's been able to do it for the last 33 games or so.
Yeah, going right back to the 1st of July. Dexter Fowler had a walk as he led off the 2nd. And now Dexter down on strikes. Back-to-back punch-outs, 5 on the night for Buchholz. Going to bring up the 5-hitter Jason Castro. He owns one of the 2 Houston hits on the night. The other picked up by Robbie Grossman. Castro with a single. Grossman had a double. That bumps that batting average up to 232 for Castro. Good command of all pitches so far for Buchholz.
And a really good job throwing those backdoor breaking balls to left-handed hitters.
And it's been the same story for Dallas Keuchel. A couple of pitchers on their games. Now that's a nice job laying off of that breaking ball that just goes under the knees.
I used to like it when I would take pitches like that, and the pitcher, you'd see him kind of shake his head like, good grief, how did he not swing at that?
Where your front side doesn't open up, and
you look like
you
just
see it.
Spit on it like nothing.
Yep.
Meanwhile, internally, I'm going, good Lord, I hope he doesn't throw that again.
Man, that felt good, but don't try me again. Yeah. Nice play by one of the fans down here on the right side.
That was real nice.
They already got a sign for that play?
Not sure, but he's rocking something that looked like an old school Astros uniform.
Doesn't get better than that.
Warriors.
Oh,
look at you, man. You're all over the. Woo. Those are pretty good seats.
Pitch is grounded foul. Stays at 1-2 on Jason Castro. Two hits for Houston, 1 for the Red Sox. Quiet start to the ball game, but that's what good pitching can do. Breaking ball drilled and gloved at first by Napoli from foul territory on to Buchholz, and they get the out. A 1-2-3 fourth. Couple of strikeouts for Buchholz and a 1-2-3 frame.
first appearance here at this ballpark, but he's pitched in this area before. He pitched in the Cape Cod League back in 2007 and 2008, and his host family is here tonight. I'm with Nancy and Paul Lambalot, and Dallas getting you these seats tonight. I know, what did this mean? I know you stay really close with Dallas, but what did it mean for him to bring you guys out and watch him pitch at Fenway Park?
Oh, it really means a lot. We've never, we go to games, but knowing someone personally that's pitching is just beyond our dreams.
You guys had him 2 years. Did you think he would make it? That was a long time ago, 2007, 7 years ago, and here he is. Did you think that he had what it takes to make it?
Well, he was always impressive, even in college. And then when he came to the Cape Cod League and stayed with us for 2 summers, we saw a lot of potential there, and it was really exciting. Such a great guy, a gentleman, and so humble, And we just enjoyed watching him. We followed him at AAA, and then we followed him last spring training. We went down to see a couple games, and to come here and see him at Fenway Park, it's unbelievable.
Y'all enjoy the game. Guys, I'm going to go send it back up to you.
Thanks a lot, Julia. That's a great story. Really good stuff, yeah. Imagine being those folks that bring the kids in and let them stay with them and give the young guys a chance for a career. Dallas Keuchel has taken full advantage, and I agree entirely with the assessment. David Ortiz hit a hot shot back up the middle. The shift was on. It had Marwin pretty much in place, but on the backhand side unable to come up with it, and they have finally ruled it a base hit. I'm not sure what the delay was all about, but then we saw that type of scoring last night. Ortiz on with the leadoff single, and hit number 2 for the Red Sox. It brings up cleanup man and left fielder Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes, a strikeout victim in the second. Keuchel has picked up 4 on the night. High strike called with the heater. It's 0-2. Blummer was playing around, wondering what they were going to rule that Ortiz shot based on what happened last night, and so we get a little giggle out of that.
Yeah, last night we saw a similar play with John Singleton, who turned on it, hit one off the backhand side of Mike Napoli, quickly ruled an error, and I jokingly wrote down on a piece of paper that last hit by David Ortiz should be ruled an error.
So we were holding our breath. Imagine David Ortiz and company do the same. Here's a drive left field, back at the monster, and it gets out. Yoenis Cespedes has slammed one, his 20th on the year. A 2-run bomb, and the Red Sox jump on top. 2-0 here in the 4th.
If I had to guess, I'd say that he was sitting on that one. First pitch of the at-bat to Yoenis Cespedes. He got a little quick on a slider that was up in the zone. And here, a pretty good slider when we get a chance to look at it. A little bit down in the zone.
Yeah.
But you can see he leaked out a little bit, anticipating that, got the head out and turned on it, hit an absolute bullet into the monster seats.
So a rocket gets out of here to left field. 2-0 Red Sox. Nobody out here in the 4th inning. It brings up Mike Napoli.
Yeah, bat before, Yoenis got abused on a couple sliders. He said he wasn't going to let that happen this time.
Well, Cespedes hit a couple of balls on the money last night. Hit a 3rd ball sharply, and when it was all said and done, he had an 0 for 5. So that his first hit of the series. Keuchel misses close away. Mike Napoli drew a walk in the 2nd. I was saying last night that I think Yoenis Cespedes is going to make a nice plus difference for the Red Sox offensively.
I agree. Especially with that right-handed home run pop here, playing 82 games at Fenway Park. He's no slouch out there in left field either. He can make that throw easily from that monster wall to home plate.
And now the walk to Napoli. Second time he's drawn a walk.
And look at where Castro's going. This ball's going down and in on Cespedes, but Cespedes kind of leaked out a little bit. That front hip, dropped the head on that one. It's not easy to do unless you're anticipating something in that region.
Well, it did look like Cespedes might have been guessing slider down and in.
Well, sometimes you see, I mean, if it's a good pitch, now I thought that was a reasonably good pitch. Maybe not down as far as Keuchel wanted it, but some guys will get too quick, roll it over, and hit it foul. The fact that he was able to stay inside that and drive it in a line drive out of the ballpark tells me that he was anticipating something on that inner third.
Well, it was no higher than the knees, and so I imagine it was pretty much where Dallas wanted. Ground ball to third. Dominguez, Altuve, and on to first, not in time. They'll get the force on Napoli, out number 1, and Bogarts reaches on the fielder's choice.
Good play by Matty D to get that lead runner. Pretty thankful that Altuve got out of that turn unscathed. But I'm sure Dallas Keuchel would like to nip this inning in the bud and just leave it at 2 runs and not have things fall apart like it did last start for him.
Well, that home run can happen. It's kind of a flash point at any time. Not like you're suddenly pitching poorly. And in reviewing that pitch that he made, as you were saying, it was really a pretty good pitch. Chopper third base side. That's foul outside the bag. A ball and a strike now on Will Middlebrooks. He grounded into a fielder's choice in the second. That home run by Cespedes is third now already for the Red Sox since that trade. Meanwhile, John Lester for the A's has kind of been back and forth a little bit, although he's pitched well.
Has he lost a game for him yet?
Why?
Unless I saw, I think it was 3-0.
Is that the fact? Okay. Strike at the knees, 1 and 2 now. And you're probably right on that. Ground ball slowly hit. It's a fair ball and a very nice play by Matt Dominguez to get the out, throwing on the run. Into second base safely is Xander Bogaerts. So with 2 down, runner in scoring position for Jackie Bradley.
There's nothing easy about that play for a third baseman, and Matt Dominguez made a great play. Did a good job of rounding it. See how he kind of goes across and then brings it in. But timed it perfectly, picking it up on that short hop, made that exchange extremely clean. You really don't want to risk that ball being foul. As a third baseman, maybe play back and see if it does go foul. That thing ends up fair. You got more base runners, but with Matty D's ability over there, that's the second out of the inning.
First pitch is sliders away. You're right. John Lester is 3-0 for the Oakland A's.
Yeah, that's all right.
What I keep wondering with the Oakland A's is, minus Yoenis Cespedes, do they have enough offense to make it work?
I was kind of curious about that move too. I mean, their run differential had a large part to do with what he was doing offensively. I know the batting average wasn't off the charts, it really jumped at you, but the home runs and the RBIs, you know, that's a big piece to take out of a pretty potent offensive lineup.
The Oakland A's are that unique team that has pitched well and swung the bats well this year. And down on strikes, Jackie Bradley Jr. 5 strikeouts for Keuchel, but the Red Sox strike for a pair. Home run by Cespedes.
Park. Join us Wednesday, August 27th for Social Media Night when the Astros take on the A's. Tickets are $50 and they include $15 of preloaded value to be used anywhere in Minute Maid Park, a game seat in the Bud Patio, an exclusive Social Media Night t-shirt, and special guest appearances by Colin McHugh, Bill Brown, Steve Sparks, and Orbit. For tickets, visit Astros.com/social media or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Ash?
Thank you, Julia. And that should be a fun night. I know about seam heads. What do you call these? Are these
Seam faces?
I guess.
A little extra effort on the Red Sox fans this evening. There's Alan Ashby jersey.
No way.
Gotta be.
Think?
It's either you or Jay, like the two most popular guys during that era.
Yeah, man looks like he's got his senses about him, so I'm going to go with Jose Cruz. John Singleton leads it off, followed by Matt Dominguez and Jake Marisnick. We're in the 5th inning now. 2-0 Red Sox. 2-run bomb hit by Yoenis Cespedes, the difference in the ball game. Otherwise, Dallas Keuchel has been very good, but same story for Buchholz. Pitch is drilled, but hook foul. And that.
Does anybody else want to be a ball person down there? I mean, good grief.
Yeah, I say we retire the ball boy, ball girl down the right side.
Somebody send that guy full set of catcher's gear. Pretty nice stop, though, by the way. He's like, somebody come down here, help me.
You think he's had a breath yet?
No, played it off nicely, though, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Boy.
Singleton struck out looking in the 2nd. That a very big strikeout in this ball game.
Just getting peppered down there. Turn on this one. Oh, chest it up, keep it in front, make the play. Beautiful. I don't think he's taking a breath yet, though.
He's a man with some courage down there. What'd you say his name is?
That's Larry. From Waltham.
Can you call him Yogi?
Yeah, he did a good job of blocking it. Maybe his new nickname. Not that close to him to know his nickname, though, Ash.
I thought you guys were tight.
Yeah. Just casual friends.
This foul ball all the way up on the rooftop on the left side. 2-2 on Singleton. Just 2 hits for Houston, 3 for the Red Sox. And down on strikes again is Singleton. Second time for him tonight. 6 strikeouts for Buchholz. And remember, Clay Buchholz struck out 12 in that complete game effort against the Astros back in July.
Gives you an idea how good that breaking ball is tonight from Clay Buchholz. Not very good location on that breaking ball, but enough break on it to fool John Singleton.
It's a breaking ball that bends right through the heart of the plate. 0-1 on Matty D. Dominguez grounded into a double play to end the 2nd. Matt hitting .231 overall. John Farrell, and it's his pitching coach Juan Nieves right next to him. Thought we might see Torey Lovullo, one of the coaches that an old teammate of one Jeff Blum.
We were a double play combo back in AAA circa 1997. Great teammate, great guy. Wealth of knowledge inside that man's head. It's good to see him here at the big league level helping out this Red Sox team.
Torey Lovullo, along with John Farrell, came together from Toronto. Brian Butterfield, another one of the coaches that came with Farrell.
I heard he likes bowling.
Yes, he does. Talking about Brian Butterfield.
Had a couple conversations with him down at third base when he was third base coach with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's good people. They've got a good staff down there.
2-2 on Matt Dominguez. Running, sinking fastball for the strikeout. That's 7 now as Clay Buchholz is piling up the punch-outs.
He looks kind of comfortable up there against Astro hitters, but man, just a good sinker down and in. Phenomenal location. There's not much you could do with that as a right-handed hitter.
With 2 down and the bases empty, Jake Marisnick stands in. And strike on the outside edge.
He's just pounding the strike zone.
Prior to tonight's game, Clay Buchholz had faced the Astros twice, both as a starter, and compiled an ERA of 1.08. Here's a little looper off the hands and just out of the reach of Bogarts. That's a base hit, so Marisnick fights one off for the knock.
Take that, ball.
Hit number 3 for Houston.
Xander actually almost made a pretty fantastic play on this ball. Not hit well. Good jump by Bogarts. Gave it a good leaping guess.
Actually had his eyes toward the monster, and I'm not sure the glove was even turned the right way, but it sure looked good. So Marisnick at first base runs well. It brings up Marwin Gonzalez, but the Astros down 2 runs here in the 5th. 3 hits aside now. Ooh. Callable pitch.
Pretty good pitch. It's great when you're watching guys and you see the catcher put down the sign. You know what's coming. He sets up and he nails that glove. Buchholz in command of what he's doing out there tonight.
Marwin had a pair of doubles in last night's game, and that was his 3rd career 2-double game. Hot shot through the right side, back-to-back hits. Marisnick around second. He'll head for 3rd, and he'll make it without a throw. Hit number 4 for Houston, and the Astros now have something going for the leadoff man, Robbie Grossman.
The mistakes that Buchholz is making, Astro hitters are taking advantage of it. This is the 3rd hit that's been pulled by a left-handed hitter that was supposed to be a fastball in the outside corner. Buchholz yanking a couple of those back over the middle of the plate. And Marwin Gonzalez swinging the bat well right now. Good quick hands.
Yeah, he's been employing a very nice quick stroke from both sides of the plate. Well, back in the hands of Robbie Grossman, who's 1 for 2 on the night, had a 3rd inning double. That his 8th on the year. First pitch swinging, hits it under the glove of Napoli, and that's going to produce a run. As the throw comes back in, scooting to 3rd base is Marwin. It's 2-1 Red Sox, and the Astros still swinging it here in the 5th. It brings up Jose Altuve.
There's a lot of happy faces in that Astros dugout after watching a normally passive Robbie Grossman turn on the first pitch.
Hits it sharply. We'll see how this is ruled.
Base hit RBI. Just flashed it on the scoreboard, but yeah, you can see on that replay it kind of snuck past Napoli down there at first base. It's not that easy. You're holding a runner on. You're 90 feet away from the hitter, and he turns on one, hammers it. You don't have much time to get your feet in the right spot or get the glove down sometimes.
So runners at the corner. Altuve 0 for 2, flying out to center twice, takes the breaking ball. Leads all of the major leagues in hits at 167.
Just extremely happy to see Robbie Grossman swing early with a runner in scoring position.
Yes. And again, you go back to last year on the first pitch, he tore it up. And that in good part happened late in the season. Altuve has the count at 0-2. Troy Tulowitzki has been leading the National League in hitting at .340. He's on the DL, and he now has slipped back in terms of having enough plate appearances. So he's not officially the leading hitter in the National League anymore. That leaves Altuve as the Major League's leading hitter.
It's kind of cool.
Altuve hits it on the ground. Pedroia with the play, throws him out, and that'll do it. But the Astros pick up a run. They do it with 2 outs, 3 consecutive hits, and they leave him, man. It's 2-1 Red Sox. City, a Dame to Kill For, in theaters everywhere August 22nd.
I know where you're going to be August 22nd.
I noticed you've already gotten your tickets online.
Oh man, I was all over Fandango when that thing came out.
2-1 Red Sox lead over the Astros. Care to expand on that thought?
No, I'm just anxious to see what unfolds during that movie.
A run on 5 hits for Houston, 2 runs, 3 hits for Boston. Dallas Keuchel set to working, and the first pitch raked foul.
Ooh, there's some nasty foul balls being launched around the ballpark tonight.
Just glad to see the left field ball girl didn't go after this one.
Oh, son, you can barely notice where it hit you. There's Tammy Lynn. We talked about her earlier. She made a good play in that Karen, but at the same time, you got to know when to get out of the way.
At the plate, it's the 9-hitter, the catcher, Christian Vasquez. Grounded out sharply to short in the 3rd inning. Nice play by Marwin to get him. Nothing has been completed around the major leagues. A number of games underway. Texas leading the Angels 1-0 from Arlington. And that's a shot into the seats. Wow.
You know what Dustin Pedroia would call this?
I think he might call it a, what, laser?
Laser show.
I got you. I don't know why I would think that. Because I thought he only referred to his stuff as a laser show.
That's good. Some quality interview right there.
Well spotted. Caught looking Vasquez. Strikeout number 6 for Dallas Keuchel. But he finds himself trailing 2-1.
Pretty good paint job. A couple of pitchers showing good command of their stuff, setting hitters up. Let Vasquez turn on a couple of sliders, off-speed pitches. Make him feel pretty good about himself, and then just paint a sinker away, put him away.
Is that the Earl Scheib heater?
Sure.
High strike called on the leadoff man, Brock Holt.
Does Google even have that guy on record?
Try it. Rockhold 1 for 2 on the night. It's a ball and a strike.
I think Google just broke. I'm on this. I'm intrigued.
Earl Scheib, and I don't know.
Earl the Pearl?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ground ball right side on 3 hops. Altuve with the play, and out number 2 here in the 5th.
Hey fans, follow every Astros game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv, game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Astros.com today. Earl Scheib owned a company that specialized in repainting and collision repair for automobiles.
Yeah, that was a lucky call on my part to call that a Earl Scheib fastball then, huh?
Did you happen to use his services to get some damage repaired on any of your vehicles?
I don't think I ever did.
Yeah, your Model T.
Yeah, nice. You keep working on it, okay?
It's all going to come back and haunt me.
Dustin Pedroia is 0 for 2 on the night with a strikeout.
You're spot on, Ash. I'm going to have to put that in my book and use it for later.
That one works. I mean, it was a national company, and I thought it was going to work for you, but apparently not.
You got me, 1-0.
Well, you could go Sherwin-Williams on that one.
Oh, I would have gotten that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
1-2 the count on Pedroia. Yeah, that's probably
or your standard artists. Picasso.
Okay.
Yeah. A little more notable.
And Pedroia down on strike, second time on the evening. That's 7 strikeouts for Dallas Keuchel. But as he heads to the dugout, he trails 2-1.
Back to Boston. It's 2-1 Boston over the Houston Astros here in the top of the 6th inning. We got Chris Carter coming to the dish. Last AB, we saw him swing and miss on a slider. You can see March through June, he was pretty aggressive at attacking that outside corner and trying to hit that pitch. But in the last couple months, he's figured it out a little bit. Still susceptible, but I think what he's doing is doing a better job of hitting the mistakes that are in that area, not chasing so much and taking advantage of pitches that are actually in the strike zone. And what I've actually seen, especially during that last homestand, was a much quicker bat from Chris Carter too. He was letting the ball travel a little bit, not leaning out over the plate, keeping those hands back and really snapping on some of those pitches and turning on them.
For me, you nailed it right there. Just kind of keeping the hands back and then relying on quick hands. And he has good hands.
He really does.
Yeah.
He swings a healthy size bat too. I was down there last year talking to him and picked up one of his sticks, and it was about 34 ounces, which is a sizable bat these days in the major leagues. But he can still get that thing around in a hurry.
Shift is on for Chris. He struck out a couple of times tonight. As the count at a ball and a strike. We're in the 6th inning. 2-1 Red Sox. Yoenis Cespedes with a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. David Ortiz had led off that frame with an infield single. And then the Astros responded with 2 outs in the 5th inning to get their lone run. Slider drilled up the middle. That's a base hit. Right off the end of the bat. But you take him any way you can get him.
Didn't square it up, but it's still a good swing.
Yep.
You know, he let the ball get to him. Early in the air, Chris was trying to hit that thing when it was halfway to home plate instead of waiting for it to get there. But you can see still a good swing, head down on the ball. But Clay Buchholz has a good breaking ball today, and that's sometimes what you got to do to get on the board with your knock.
So Carter gets something started here in the 6th. Brings up the cleanup man, Dexter Fowler. Dexter has walked and struck out. 7 strikeouts on the night for Clay Buchholz. Both pitchers picking up the punchouts. Third baseman Middlebrooks drawing in as that first offering misses. So I mentioned Texas leading over the visiting LA Angels, top of the 3rd inning, 1-0 Texas, and that's Garrett Richards on the mound for the Angels.
Wow.
Breaking ball, tap foul. It's 1-1.
Might be all they get the way that guy's been pitching.
But when the Astros saw him,
Ugh.
I wasn't sure there was a tougher pitcher going in the league.
He made me happy for retirement. He has got some nasty stuff.
Bo Porter has seen a few pitchers, including Clay Buchholz, deal with the Astros hitters.
Angels only 2 behind the Oakland Athletics. They picked a tough time, the Oakland Athletics did, to go through Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City gave them a rough time. Speaking of KC, they're in Minnesota. Scoreless ball game in the 3rd inning. Where does that stand right now? Kansas City a half-game lead over Detroit. That's at the start of play. Cleveland 6 back. Buchholz turns and throws to first. Your Baltimore Orioles lead in the East by 7.5 over Toronto. And the Blue Jays have been scuffling lately.
Wait a minute. The Orioles are leading the East by 7.5? Who would have thought?
Jeff Blum would have thought.
Man, I'm all over this.
You had that early on, didn't you? Yeah, there was an interesting little sight right there. Talked how home plate umpires in working the inside corner will a lot of times get caught with a catcher. Vasquez, a rookie, with his right hand tapped back on the right leg of the home plate umpire, who is Corey Blazer tonight, to let him know, I'm coming this way. And Blazer backed off with that right leg. It was a veteran move. 3-1 pitch. That's a fastball at 88. You probably shouldn't miss on a 3-1.
You can see Dexter Fowler asking Corey if that was a strike or a ball, and he said strike. But yeah, I'm with you, Ash. It was just kind of that generic dead fish BP fastball in a 3-1 count.
So we'll see now. Chris Carter at first being held on by Napoli. See if Carter might be on the move. Astros have been a good running team this year. They're second in stolen bases at 85. and caught just 24 times. Carter does not go, as getting just a piece is Fowler. Of course, leading the Astros by a wide margin, Jose Altuve, a league best 46 bags. Coming out of the spring, did you see that happening at all for Altuve?
No, I expected him to be right around that 35 range, but I didn't expect him to go out there and lead the American League. But he had a bit of a chip on his shoulder coming out of spring training.
3-2 once again. Caught looking as Fowler. Second time he's struck out. 8 now for Buchholz, and out number 1 here in the 6th.
It's a good pitch by Buchholz. Two-seamer running back over that inside corner. He's a left-handed hitter again. You see that ball coming on the inside part. You give up on it. Draws back over that inside corner. Like Corey Blazer gave him yeah, that was a strike. Beat it. Kind of wave with the hand. Might have been a little unnecessary.
Having been back there, there are times when you wonder, because so many hitters will ask after the fact. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, I called it. That's why I thought it was then, and now still think it was a strike.
You realize that's 20 strikeouts for Clay Buchholz and 15 innings pitched against the Astros this year.
12 in that previous start, 8 tonight. Wow. One out as Castro stands in, 1 for 2 on his night. At a second inning single, shooting one down the right field side. Infield plays for 2. And Castro fouls it back. Chicago White Sox are leading Toronto 4-1. There's those scuffling Blue Jays once again. They're just in the first inning. Make it 5-1 White Sox. The White Sox have actually come on a little bit here recently. Not so much.
Encarnacion's not back in the lineup yet for the Blue Jays?
Well, he is back today. He was activated today.
Okay. That's got to help their chances a little bit.
0 for 1 as the cleanup man, but again, just the first inning.
Yeah, but 5 runs, giving up 5 runs in the first inning is
not so good.
Yeah, they're not good at all.
Plus, Adam Lind is back in that Toronto lineup, so they're pretty much at full strength now. Missing Brett Laurie, that would be about it. Five hits, 5 runs in that first inning for the White Sox. 1-2 on Castro. You didn't get to see Marcus Stroman, young pitcher for Toronto.
Nope.
Came with a lot of fanfare. Didn't have a great day in Houston, and he's certainly not having a good day tonight. 2/3 of an inning, 5 hits and 5 earnings at the hands of the White Sox. The 1-2. Buchholz tries to find that inside edge.
Vasquez set up way inside.
Yeah, I've noticed that tonight on some pitches that he'll bring it right in behind the hitter. John Farrell has been very impressed with his young catcher. Got a couple of rookie catchers on his roster. There's A.J. Pierzynski started the year as the backstop for Boston, but that didn't last long.
David Ross on the 15-day DL.
Yep. And now 3-2. The Astros down just a run. Would you be willing to send Carter with Castro at the plate on the 3-2?
Not with the amount of strikeouts that Castro's racked up this season. And with the speed of Carter.
Bo Porter and Dave Tremblay. Well, it has slowed down thoroughly here in the 6th. Carter does not go. The pitch on the hands of Castro. San Diego's in St. Louis trailing 2-0 in the bottom of the second inning. So the Cardinals will win that division because
pitching, timely hitting.
Last year they had that timely hitting thing going.
It was ridiculous what they had going with runners in scoring position last year.
They hit like 370 with runners in scoring position. And Castro down on strikes. Off speed to get that strikeout. 9 now for Buchholz.
Here's the upcoming schedule presented by Progressive. We are not done here in Boston. We've got 2 more before heading out to New York. Quick trip. Day off on Monday. Enjoy this beautiful weather that we've got here on the East Coast before entertaining the New York Yankees for 3 games and then jumping on the bird and heading into Cleveland for a 3-game set over that weekend before heading back to Houston. Pretty lengthy road trip for the Houston Astros against some pretty good ball clubs.
So Buchholz now with 9 punch-outs, has 2 down here in the 6th inning. Singleton at the plate. He takes a strike, and Singleton has struck out his 2 at-bats. Once looking, once swinging. To the count.
Pretty interesting splits on John Singleton. Against left-handed pitchers this year, he's hitting 271.
Isn't that amazing?
Against right-handed pitchers, he's hitting 154. I did not anticipate seeing that.
Yeah, any way to explain that, I can't. That's for sure. The 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, I'm not sure. See the discrepancy in those numbers,
and if those were the other way around, you would understand it. I would. But a young rookie left-handed hitter finds a way to handle the left-hand pitcher. 1-2 the count. Crowd getting behind Buchholz as he misses away. Talking about pitchers who picked up a lot of strikeouts, as Buchholz is again tonight against Houston. Most times in a career with 14 or more strikeouts in a game, my reaction is Nolan Ryan, top of the list. Randy Johnson's the king.
That makes sense too.
47 times. Now Nolan wasn't too shabby, 36 times himself. Roger Clemens 15 times over 14 strikeouts.
I played in a game where we beat Randy Johnson and struck out 14 times.
Well, here's the deal. Randy went 30-7 when he had 14 or more strikeouts.
7 losses with 14 strikeouts. You
know, the only guy on the list, the top 9 in terms of 14 strikeout games or more, that didn't lose a game was Roger Clemens, 13-0.
Wow.
A couple of no Ds. 2-2 pitch. And now 3-2. This has been the pattern in the inning. Went 3-2 before getting Dexter Fowler looking. 3-2 before, or was it 2-2? I'm trying to remember now on Castro. It was 3-2 on Castro.
Buchholz has been working his tail off in this inning. Get that pitch count up. But it seems like he's really slowed things down. Throwing a lot of pitches.
This will be pitch number 98 for Buchholz. There goes Carter. And just inside, you could see Singleton actually flinch. He draws the 2-out walk. It'll bring up Matt Dominguez.
Yeah, I don't think Singleton was too sure that was going to be called a ball. Locked him up on the inside corner, maybe a little bit down. Just give you a good look at where it crosses. If anything, it's down. I thought it caught part of that inside corner. Now this inning extended on that walk. Buchholz wanted it.
Clay Buchholz, a guy who picked up a no-hitter back in 2007. It came on September 1st against the Baltimore Orioles, Blummer's team, right here at Fenway Park. So a big situation for the Astros. 2 down, runners at first and second. Matt Dominguez 0 for 2 on the night. Has grounded into a double play and struck out. And a chance to get back into this one. Matt takes a strike.
Cutter right down the middle, but Buchholz has been doing a great job of getting ahead of Astro hitters early in this game with breaking balls. They have thrown a little wrinkle in there against Matt Dominguez. Locked him up.
At one time, Clay Buchholz would go 95 on you quite often. That fastball at 91 is away. He's pretty much been in that 88 to 93 range this evening. And he used to bend a lot of slow curveballs and had a changeup that he would exploit hitters with. Ball and a strike. Dominguez hits one high in the air. Gliding back under is Bradley. He will make the catch. That'll do it for Houston. They get a hit and a walk and leave a pair. It's 2-1. Red Sox lead it.
And take advantage of one of the best bargains in Minute Maid Park with the Coca-Cola Value Days package. Available with specially marked Coke products. The package includes a ticket, hot dog, popcorn, and bottled Coke for just $16. Visit Astros.com for more information. Guys, a couple of guys that have been rehabbing. Jesus Guzman started yesterday, but tonight he's in Fresno with Oklahoma City. So the game hasn't started yet, but he will DH tonight, and they will reevaluate after that, play about 5 innings. Alex Presley with Tri-City. Yesterday I said that the Astros, they decided that he wasn't going to play yesterday or today. Kind of a setback, nothing too serious, but they wanted to see if the discomfort was going to linger more than yesterday. Well, today, good news. He's back in the lineup a day earlier, so he's playing with Tri-City. Already has a knock for the Valley Cats. Julia
Morales always keeping us up to date. Thanks, Julia. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Big Papi David Ortiz leads it off. He'll be followed by Yoenis Cespedes and Mike Napoli. That's 3-4-5 for the Sox.
Bo Porter is going to have his hands full trying to rotate everybody into that outfield in September, isn't he? Get Springer back hopefully in a couple weeks. Alex Presley coming back.
Ball and a strike on Papi. Yeah, that's it's going to be a bit of a challenge. And the way Carter has swung the bat, you know he's going to be the DH. So
there you go. Yeah,
you don't have that option.
Great call. Ouch. Saw those home runs for Big Papi. His next home run in a Red Sox uniform will be 400. That'll make him 3rd on the Red Sox career home run list. behind a couple of no names.
No names, huh?
Yastrzemski, Williams.
Strike 2 called, bottom of the knees. Poppy probably doesn't like it. Yeah, those you might need to come with first names on those guys so we'll know who you're talking about.
Carl and Ted. Pretty good ball players.
Teddy Baseball, that's the one you're talking about, huh?
Yeah, he was okay. Left his mark here in Boston.
Now 3-2. Dallas Keuchel has struck out 7 on his night. Clay Buchholz with 9 punch-outs.
Splendid splinter.
Photo of him upstairs here where we work. That pretty amazing. When he was a younger kid, but just a skinny kid.
Yeah, there was really no like muscle mass to him, or Mickey Mantle was one of those guys who was one of the thicker individuals, but Ted Williams, he could just rake.
Yeah, it was in the swing for Ted, and not this body that you'd say, wow, no doubt that guy was going to be a good one. Is that the second ball these guys have gotten?
Yeah, he fought off a couple of fans for it too. Had a good play. He might earn himself a spot down the right field line.
I don't know if he wants that one.
That's a good point. Got to be at the right place at the right time to get foul balls in a big league park, and you got to want it. Stay with it. Stay with it. Atta boy.
Nice. Nicely done.
There's a reason he has a C on the jersey.
These guys look like they might make up a ball club of their own. 3-2 once again. And drawing the leadoff walk is David Ortiz.
Here's our Mako big hit of the game. It was off the bat of Yoenis Cespedes. First at bat he struck out on the slider, but he wasn't going to be fooled this time around. Keuchel made a good pitch on a slider on the inner third, but Yoenis Cespedes up to the challenge. Opened up that front side, dropped the head, kept it fair for a 2-run bomb. It's really the only bad pitch that Dallas Keuchel has made all evening. And it wasn't even a bad pitch. It was just a better swing by Yoenis.
Yeah. 3 walks now issued by Dallas. The other 2 picked up by Mike Napoli, who waits on deck. So Cespedes at the plate takes a strike. So Cespedes, the guy who has won the home run derby each of the last 2 years, now has 20 bombs on his season, 3 as a member of the Red Sox. Has a 1-1 count. Red Sox struck for a pair in the 4th. That on that home run by Cespedes. The Astros picked up their lone tally in the 5th inning. With 2 outs, they got hits from Marisnik, Marwin Gonzalez, and Robbie Grossman.
Watch out, Julia. It is not safe to be in foul territory around here.
That's pretty tight to home plate, especially that left field side.
Ooh. Cespedes has got pretty good numbers with runners on base. Career 280, 30 home runs, and 200 RBIs.
2-2 the count.
This is a similar situation to when that home run was hit.
Yeah.
Tried to elevate the fastball, change the plane a little bit, and go down and in with that slider. Let's see if he does a better job with it right here, or maybe tries to paint that outside corner with the fastball.
85th pitch for Keuchel, ground ball. Should be 2. Altuve goes to the bag, fires on to first. They get the double play. 4 unassisted, 3, and another sharply hit ball by Cespedes.
That was a good sequence. Last AB, similar count. Keuchel. You can see Altuve playing right behind Keuchel in this shift. But this is a part that what impressed me was that, this is the evolution of the game. When you're playing in the game, you got to make mid-game adjustments, and I think Dallas Keuchel realizing that he got beat with that slider in, mixed it up, went to that fastball away. Not the greatest pitch,
yeah,
but considering the sequence from the previous at bat, may have gotten him that ground ball.
Just a change, different look. Yeah, you're right. Here's a ball hit high and deep to center field. Fowler going back. Napoli has driven it off the wall in center field. That'll kick to Marisnik. He fires back in. Napoli into second, has a 2-out double.
That was interesting right there. For me, Dexter Fowler, a veteran center fielder, probably hasn't played at Fenway too often, but you don't normally see an outfielder backpedaling onto the warning track and towards a wall on a ball like this. Kind of see him taking an angle to where they can see the ball and the fence, but you can see right here, I'm not sure if he thought he was camped or had more room. And I'm not saying he would have had a chance to catch it either. That ball hit about halfway at the wall, but just unorthodox to watch a center fielder backpedal into a wall.
Yeah, I think you make a point, though, and I think you're right. It probably ultimately was too high off the wall, but he didn't give himself a chance to jump at the wall.
Yeah. And credit Jake Marisnick for going over there and backing up his buddy in center field, keeping Napoli at a two-bagger.
It would appear that Jake Marisnick has all the tools to be a very good outfielder.
Showing good savvy out there, good court awareness.
Xander Bogaerts at the plate as this one in the dirt kicks away from Castro. And moving into third base is Mike Napoli. Looked like Castro just tried to backhand one out of the dirt.
Yeah, you're spot on.
Wild pitch. And now Napoli 90 feet away, but 2 outs. Bogaerts takes a strike. It's 2-1. You got Bogaerts, Middlebrooks, Bradley, and Vasquez in the bottom 4 spots in this order. And you want to take advantage, but you also don't want to walk any of them. Ground ball to second. Altuve with the easy play, and that'll do it for the Red Sox. They get a 2-out double, but strand him. 2-1 Sox.
Photo of the game tonight. It is Stephanie Lawless tweeting this cutie. Look at him. Yay. That's a Minute Maid Park. Tweet your photo to #CSNHFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Cute stuff. Julia always gets all the cool and cute stuff. Red Sox lead it 2-1. Jake Marisnick will lead off the Astros' 7th inning. He'll be followed by Marwin Gonzalez, and then leadoff man Robbie Grossman. The Red Sox now tuning up a righty and a left-hander. That left-hander is Tommy Lane, and we'll see if we can figure out who the right-hander is.
I think it might be Burke Badenhop.
So on the first pitch of the inning, backing away and taking a ball is Marisnick. That's 102 pitches now for Buchholz. Look at those numbers. .314 the batting average.
You look at them.
I did. Pitch is popped up on the infield. Shortstop Bogaerts coming on and calling. And out number 1.
Yeah, Marisnik seems to be pretty comfortable in an Astros uniform. Nobody said you had to tear the cover off the ball to put up good numbers.
So if he winds up being a corner outfielder, plays really good defense, hits 280 or more, how much power does he have to supply as one of those corner outfielders to make himself really a valuable corner guy?
Sure, it depends on what you're going for as a ball club. You know, if he turns into a high on base percentage guy with good speed, he can steal some bags and get into scoring position. I think he'll sacrifice the home runs for the runs scored, and if he's swinging at a 300 clip, there's a good chance he's probably driving in some runs too.
Up in front and waving through it is Marwin Gonzalez, 1 for 2 on his night. With the 1 for 2, Marwin hitting .271 on the year. Clay Buchholz trying to get through this 7th inning.
Because you bring back George Springer, and that's your prototypical right fielder.
Well, that's your ideal guy. I mean, you know, great defense, great power.
And you've got Carter in the DH role. If he can hover around 230 up to 250 and hit 25, 30 plus home runs, I mean, there's your power production. It'd be good to see John Singleton get in on that mix and start driving the ball out a little more consistently and get the average up.
Counting tonight's game, the Astros have 40 games to play, quarter of the season. Chris Carter could conceivably get to 40 home runs.
Yeah. I mean, if he stays on this tear that he's on right now, that could be a really fun thing to watch. And I wouldn't be shocked if he could.
Pitch on the hands, grounded foul.
There we go. Oh, even the easy ones are having a tough time without there. Come on, Larry.
Larry still got one stuck in the midsection, I think, from earlier.
Still trying to dislodge that one.
Speaking into his thumb.
Oh, I didn't know he was working for the Secret Service also.
No kidding. I don't know why he shed the shades. Oh, and 2 the count. Buchholz breaks it down.
Yeah, he's done a good job of that in the last 2 innings.
Yes, he has. He's acting like he wants to be a bullpen pitcher. They're the ones that tend to slow things down.
He's up over 100 pitches, focusing on the win, maybe taking a little bit extra time in between each pitch to regroup.
He gets Marwin out in front. He pops it up at the plate. Marwin actually interfered enough that he would have been called out one way or another, making the play. Vasquez, second out in the inning, and back to the top with Robbie Grossman. As this one is in the air, Marwin just stands there, and home plate umpire Corey Blazer says you're out one way or the other.
I think it was a reasonable call.
So Buchholz comes back out for the 7th inning, gets the first 2 hitters, and now tries to polish it with Robbie Grossman. The Astros have out hit the Red Sox 6-4, but trail it 2-1. Pitch is hammered high and deep down the right side at the pesky pole. Robbie Grossman has tied it. A 2-2 ball game. Robbie with his 6th on the year.
Full-on ambush mode tonight. Good things happen when you go up there and you get ready to pick a pitch to hit. You get it, you don't miss it. You know he's been in the groove lately. A big home run right there to tie this ball game up against Clay Buchholz, who's been pitching well.
Well, he did get the pitch that it appeared he was looking for. Again, number 6 on the year for Robbie Grossman. RBI number 26.
There's your power corner guy.
Yeah.
Left fielder Robbie Grossman with a bomb.
We had a big one recently at Minute Maid Park from the right side of the plate to help win a ball game. Reaching out, hitting it off the end of the bat. Altuve, the throw on a hop, and they got him. Hanging on Napoli at first base, and a nice play on both ends. So that'll do it. But with 2 outs, Robbie Grossman strikes with his 6th and ties it at 2. The Red Sox at 2. Game 3 from Fenway tomorrow night as Jose Altuve and the Astros try to dim the laser show and take down the Red Sox. Pregame live starts tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, that changes things a bit. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Clay Buchholz came on, got Marisnick and Marwin Gonzalez to start the 7th inning. And then, no doubt, facing what was to be his last man, it didn't work out that way. But Robbie Grossman launched number 6 to right field. And we are tied at 2, and Dallas Keuchel, rather, right back in this game.
He's done a good job, shown a lot of poise, made that good pitch to Yoenis that he drove out of the ballpark. But I appreciate the poise and the hard work that Dallas Keuchel has done. He's done a good job with that slider. We talked about it's been getting beat up a little bit here in recent days and recent starts for him, but doing a good job against a really good hitting lineup against the Houston Astros. Locating that thing on the outside corner to put away hitters on the fastball. Really ruining some evenings for guys like Dustin Pedroia.
Keuchel will face the bottom 3 in the order now for the Red Sox: Middlebrooks, Bradley, and Vasquez. And falls behind 1-0. Middlebrooks 0 for 2 on the night. In fact, not a hit, not a reaching of base between these 3 hitters. Keuchel would like to keep it that way. Ball hit off the end of the bat. Marwin to his right. And a good strong throw. Out number 1.
Numbers on the evening for Dallas Keuchel. As of right now, a quality start, 6 1/3, only 2 earned runs, 7 punch outs.
So 1 out, base is empty for Jackie Bradley Jr. Left-hand hitter takes a strike. He's grounded out, trying to bunt his way aboard in the 3rd inning. Dallas Keuchel made that play himself. He's also struck out. Twelve ground ball outs now recorded by Dallas. And the count stays 0-2 on Bradley.
I was looking to see what Dallas's career high in strikeouts were. It says it's 9, but I think our notes guys are trying to predict the future. It says that the last time he did it was on September 13th of 2014.
So a little clairvoyance going on here in the notes.
I like the prediction.
Yeah. Down on strikes, Jackie Bradley. 2nd time for him tonight. And now 8 on the night for Keuchel. Boy, he has been good.
Real good. One away from that career high in strikeouts. Had that slider working down. Great pitch. Get some good swings and misses over the top. Struck out 8 earlier in the season. Back on May 19th was the last time he did it against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
So 2 outs, bases empty. Christian Vasquez at the plate. He's grounded out and struck out. And takes a strike. Well placed inside corner. Dallas has 97 pitches. Now, if he can get a quick out here for the final out of the 7th, maybe a chance to run out there for one more.
4 complete games on the season for Dallas.
Yep. That was July 30th against the Oakland A's. Picked up number 4.
Interesting. Getting word that when Dallas Keuchel got those 9 strikeouts, it was September 13th of last year, and it was the 51st win and final win of that season last year.
Yeah, that led to the final 15 games being lost by the club. The last Astros pitcher to complete 4 games in a single season, Roy Oswalt. He did it in 2005, the World Series year. Last lefty for the Astros to do it, pretty easy to guess, Randy Johnson, 1998. And here's a base hit, a 2-out single for Vasquez. And so now Keuchel will have to face the leadoff man, Brock Holt.
I'm surprised anybody let any of the starters in 2005 for the Houston Astros finish complete games. Boy, the back end of that bullpen was dealing.
Yeah, it was a good one, yeah. Larry Dierker was the skip, and he loved letting pitchers go all the way.
Not in 2005.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
2005.
Yeah.
Yes. I had my
Phil
head.
Garner.
Yeah.
We had Lidge, Qualls.
One for 3 on the night for Holt. And the breaking ball in the dirt kicks away from Castro. A wild pitch will move Vasquez into second.
It's a tough pitch for Castro to try and knock down. Working with the pitcher all night. He's doing a great job of locating, and then he just spikes one. Stayed down on him a little bit. Found a soft spot out in front of home plate.
Saw the glove start to come up, and once that glove comes up, a lot of things start to go wrong. So a 2-out single for Vasquez, the 9-hitter. A wild pitch, and now with Brock Holt, a guy who has torn Houston pitching to pieces, you got a bit of a precarious spot in a 2-2 tie.
Jose Veras getting loose in the Astros bullpen.
Pitch number 102 on the night, and that's a strike. Holt last night 2 for 4, so he's 3 for 7 here in the series. Slider drilled into right field. That's a base hit. Here comes Vasquez. The throw to the plate is cut off. Firing down to second. The Astros have now on a rundown hold, and he's tagged out by Marwin. So 9-3-6 on that final out, but the Red Sox strike for a run. Back-to-back 2-out hits by Vasquez and Holt. Keuchel, Vasquez, and Brock Holt, and it produces run number 3. And now they turn to their bullpen as Edward Mujica comes in. He's worked in 46 games this year.
Sure has done all right. 3 saves out of 4 attempts. Wow, 6 runs in 44 innings pitched. He's got himself a fastball. It's that split finger fastball that does him some good when it's on.
So it's the Astros up against the bullpen now. We go to the 8th inning. And that's tough to watch for Dallas Keuchel. He's been pitching so well. Got the first 2 outs handily in the 7th inning. And then all of a sudden, base hit by Vasquez. The wild pitch gets away from Castro. And a base hit by a guy who just keeps beating up the Astros, Brock Holt.
Be nice to see that offense answer back, so that Dallas Keuchel can spit the hook and not take the loss.
Leadoff slider to Carter. He takes it for a ball. Carter has struck out twice and singled. 1 for 3 on his night, and now we've got some nonsense going on in the field as a fan comes out from the third base side. And we've got the grounds crew chasing. He's been tackled out near second base, and so we'll tidy up the field here in a moment.
Are they going to do anything to deter these guys from jumping on the field?
Well, I think they spend a good night in the local jail, if I'm not mistaken.
It's just shocking to me that there's probably a waiting list to get into the ballpark here at Fenway. You got an idiot like that that jumps on the field and goes running around, sacrificing a ticket where somebody else would have enjoyed the evening a little bit more. We get to spend an evening with Boston's finest.
Well, this individual being taken out down the right field side. It's a ball and no strikes on Carter. Chris hitting .231 with that base hit in the 6th inning. And now 2-0 the count. Chris tied with Edwin Encarnacion, who we mentioned just coming off the DL for Toronto, as the only players in the major leagues with 6 multi-homer games this year. Very impressive stuff. 2-1 the count.
Perfect 2-0 pitch from Mujica. That was nice. And I think that was a good take by Chris Carter, not expanding to try and go get it.
Completely, and this one likely off the edge, but it's 2-2. Those 6 multi-homer games for Carter tie him for the top spot in the Astros record books, along with Lance Berkman. A line shot into right field. Chris Carter doing it very well as he leads it off with a base hit. He's 2 for 4 on the night, getting something going here in the 8th inning.
The game is slowing down a little bit for Chris Carter. Not much panic, good balance. The foot's down early and the hands are back, and when he gets a pitch up that he can hit, he just unloads. That ball was ripped into right.
Don't you think just kind of relaxing at the plate with his tools enables him to be quick with those hands?
So quiet.
Yeah.
He's so quiet and relaxed. You know, that top half early in the season was kind of hunched over the plate and led to him chasing some pitches out of the zone. But now he's a little more upright. You see how relaxed that head is barely moving. That allows you to see the ball that much longer, and that's a big key for big league hitters and Chris Carter.
Fowler grounds one foul, and the count at 0-2. Dexter on the night 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts. He's also drawn a walk. Dexter Fowler 7th in the American League with a .380 on base percentage. Puts it in the air, shallow down the left field side, could be trouble, and it drops. amongst 3 players down that side into second, and stopping is Carter. Back-to-back hits, and here come the Astros.
Couldn't have thrown one out there in a better spot. Fell within inches of 3 Red Sox.
And now the skip, John Farrell, coming out to the mound.
That's that split finger we talked about from Mujica. Just bad luck right here. Made a nasty pitch. Fowler did a better job of just getting a piece of it. But right in that Bermuda Triangle here at Fenway Park.
So the left-hander Tommy Lane coming on to pitch now. Nobody out and a couple of runners aboard. We break it right here. And Dexter Fowler, and the Astros have something going on. Chris Carter is going to be removed for a pinch runner now as Gregorio Petit comes on. He's at second base. Dexter Fowler with speed at first. The Astros trying to capitalize here in this 8th inning. And now left-hander, 29 years of age, Tommy Lane comes on.
Only making his 9th appearance. Good ERA. He's had an opportunity to save one. Didn't. 6 2/3 inning. Hasn't given up a home run yet. That opponent batting average pretty low at 0.91. See that he's going to throw a fastball around 89, 90 miles an hour. He's got a slider, curveball. That's it.
So the assignment is there. Jason Castro at the plate. Red Sox now have a right-hander loosening in their pen. John Singleton waits on deck. So nobody out. See how the Astros play this. You have any anticipation that a bunt could come into play?
Not really.
The Astros showing no signs to bunt at all. 1 ball and no strikes.
Castro, another left-handed hitter for the Astros with better numbers against left-handed pitching.
Spin move back to second base. Well, Tommy Lane hasn't been around a long time for the Red Sox, but the little bit he has been around, he's gotten left-hand batters to the tune of an .077 mark. Under the knees, it's 2-0.
Good time to hit. Here's Jason Castro.
And now 3-0.
Saw something just like this last night. Aaron Downs came in with the bases loaded, walked first batter Jackie Bradley Jr. Now John Farrell, the manager of the Red Sox, is on the other end of it.
Not fun when you're the skip. You're trying to strategically lay it out there for your club to win, and
well, you're putting a left-handed pitcher in a good spot against a left-handed hitter.
3-1 the count.
Well, what do you think would be a good spot? Got John Singleton on deck after this, who's got pretty good, better numbers against left-handers than right-handers.
Bottom line, that's why that left-hander is even on your ball club.
Craig Breslow threw last night. Left-hander out of the Red Sox bullpen. Tommy Lane tonight.
3-1 to Castro. And now 3-2, a high strike. Castro was ready to throw the bat away.
He was a little generous at the top of the zone. Crossing right around those numbers. Within the rule book strike zone.
So 3-2. Castro takes strike 3. And Jason's not happy.
I don't think he's upset about that last pitch. It was borderline, but we've seen the edges called for both pitchers. Clay Buchholz and Dallas Keuchel throughout the game. That crossfire from the left-hander. Tommy Lane punches out Castro.
Well, that's a costly first out here in the 8th inning.
It's frustration.
1 out runner still at first and second. John Singleton at the plate, and another left-hander for Lane to go after. Another spin towards second. I don't care for that play at all. I just think that an infielder should have to be at the bag.
You know what somebody's yelling from the Astros dugout? The other way, Meat.
Yeah, if you're scared.
Wrong way.
Yeah, you get a lot of that. It's a ball and a strike on Singleton. 2 runs, 9 hits for Houston. 3 runs on 6 hits for the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox have hit the only long ball of the game. 2-run dinger by Yoenis Cespedes, and that came back in the 4th. Well, let's take that back, because yes, Robbie Grossman with that key home run that came to tie it in the 7th. And now 1-2 the count. Mentioned the great numbers for Lane against left-hand hitters. Right-handers haven't done much. They're hitting 111 against him, so it's going to be interesting to see if he stays on to face Matt Dominguez. John Singleton has a way against lefties.
Watch a front shoulder. That's what you got to look for. I know we talked about the lower half on Chris Carter earlier leaking out. And even right there from that side end, we got a pretty good view of that front hip leaving a little bit early. Thus, the top half is going to open up a little bit early. And when you do that, you lose the barrel. And what I mean by that is it kind of drops underneath the shoulder and drags through the zone. It makes it real tough to get those outside pitches. But he's got such good success against lefties. You'd expect that front shoulder to be in a little bit longer.
Got him swinging under the strike zone, but Singleton offers back-to-back strikeouts of Castro and Singleton. And now with 2 outs, the Astros trying to make something happen. John Farrell's going to come out again. And so I think we've gotten our answer. Lane will not stay on to face the right-handed bat of Matt Dominguez. And high fives all around. Couple of big strikeouts for Tommy Lane. So he will leave with the Red Sox still on top 3-2. And the bullpen comes on further to try to hold it. We'll work it now for the Boston Red Sox. Picking up Clay Buchholz, who started. It's been Mujica, Lane, and now Badenhop. 31 years of age in his 54th game.
Doing all right, too. 2.59 ERA. Only allowed 1 home run. 55 2/3 innings. Sinker baller. Is in the upper 80s. Got a curveball. That's basically it. Just sinker curveball.
Strikes out just over 5 per 9 innings. And now another one of these little spin moves to second base.
And nobody covering second base. Pedroia and Bogarts just completely out of that play.
You can't do that bluff to first base from the rubber. So I don't know why it's allowed to second base. They finally took away that one to third base.
What memo got sent down to the bullpen that says do the spin move immediately?
This is our trick move of the night.
Yeah, we'll get them sleeping on this one, guys.
And I think it's become such a relied upon move just to see if anybody's running. But you know the Astros aren't running here.
I agree.
It's a ball and a strike. Matt Dominguez 0 for 3 on the night. And taking some early strikes. Has a good swing and fouls it back. It's 1-2 on Matt. Leadoff single by Chris Carter. Dexter Fowler hit a little pop fly that dropped down the left field side for a base hit. Carter was pinch run for by Petit. John Farrell has gone to the bullpen a couple of times, and he's gotten a couple of strikeouts of Castro and Singleton, and now 1-2 on Matty D. And again, Dominguez spoils. Badenhop wants to talk with his catcher. If you're a manager in John Farrell's spot, Badenhop, who has pitched well this year, is still a guy that's a little bit dangerous to have on the hill because he's allowed more hits than innings pitched. And just a base hit here should tie the ball game.
His mannerisms make me nervous.
The 1-2 slider hit on a hop to short. Bogarts into second, and he's safe. Throw to the plate, and now Petit slips by, but and he's safe. Petit is safe at the plate, despite the Red Sox doing everything they could to make that play, and the Astros have tied him.
They put several bodies in front of him, and they still couldn't get him.
I mean, you got to watch this play.
This is incredible. And I was watching Gregorio go around third right here, and I thought he had a chance to score if he'd have kept going, but he stopped, hesitated, and then it turns into a complete yard sale with bodies everywhere. Watch Petit. Great hustle by Dexter Fowler, beating this thing out, realizing the situation. But I mean, how many different baselines did Gregorio Petit create right there is probably the question. Which play do you challenge right here, Ash?
Look at the route that Vasquez takes.
Yeah, that's
but
something.
Then how about this hustle getting to the plate?
Something out of Magellan's playbook.
Wow. What a way to tie the ball game.
Or so we hope.
I don't see.
There's no tag, obviously. I mean, can you go to replay and argue the base run here?
Look, do you think Petit did anything wrong there? Because I don't.
I don't. I mean, you could question the route he took and maybe critique him on that a little bit.
I'm not sure why Vasquez took off to the infield side like he did. But Boy, the hustle by Badenhop
Well,
getting to the plate.
The throw took
maybe that's
Vasquez
yeah.
towards the inside of the diamond.
Vasquez was very aggressively going after this play.
But this is a play right here you could review. It looks like Fowler does beat it.
I don't think you could reverse that one. See that route being taken by Vasquez, and then Badenhop comes in, and you think, wow, what a play.
I'll tell you what, Badenhop's lucky that Petit's as agile as he is, because he could have gotten crushed right there. So they're going to go over the headsets and try and sort this one out. Should be a lot of fun.
I'd love to know what they're reviewing on the play. It's possible, like you say, that they're reviewing second base. I don't see anything wrong here by Petit. Fans at Fenway Park are reacting like they didn't like something about Petit's last step or two.
Well, the only question might be, you know, did he create a like, where does he create the baseline? Is it? But I don't think it was too far out of the realm of what was going on.
Apparently they're challenging both plays. Watch Petit. He's in the baseline. He doesn't avoid a tag by being out of the baseline. So I don't think you could call it on that.
And they're challenging both plays, the play at second base and the play at home plate. But could you go back as Bo Porter? And I know everybody loves Rule 7.13. Hey, Badenhop didn't have the ball yet, and he was in front of home plate. He didn't give a lane to the to the base runner.
You know, the biggest thing I'd say on this play with Petit is that he didn't avoid a tag from Vasquez by being out of the baseline. He came out of the baseline later, but you can do that as a base runner. You can go as far out of the lines as you want as long as you're not avoiding a tag.
Some kind of interesting. I can't wait for the explanation.
I just don't see how they could change anything on this play.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know what they would go to point at.
And how do you rule this one? Is that a base hit for Matt Dominguez?
Fielder's choice in an RBI, possibly, but I don't know how that works out with Fowler beating out that ball at second base. We'll have to go over there and ask Chaz.
Yeah, for me, we've got a 3-3 ball game.
We got to get on these headsets, man. We need to be piped in. I want to hear these conversations.
I want to know why the umpires need to hear the conversation. I think Gregorio Petit feels that everything is just rosy.
He's like, look, I set him up.
I think we're going to see a save.
Safe at second. Home plate. The run scores.
Yep.
Tie ball game.
And we've got a 3-3 game. That, for me, that's the only way you could rule that.
No, I agree. The play at second base for me was a heck of a lot closer than that play was at home plate. I think it was pretty clear that Petit did everything in his power.
Yeah, again, that play probably is in that category of it's too close to overturn. And maybe had it been called out initially, it might have been that same ruling.
So giving him a knock, or what do we got?
I don't know what we've got. We've got Matt Dominguez at first, John Singleton, or rather Dexter Fowler at second. A 3-3 game, and Jake Marisnick at the plate.
You know what's crazy is if Xander Bogaerts chooses to go to first base, he gets Matt Dominguez by a couple steps.
That's what I thought too.
Over.
Yeah, with Matt going down the line, there's no way that was going to even be close. And now the count at a ball and a strike on Jake Marisnick.
Look at where Bogaerts has the ball and where Matt Dominguez is.
That's a very big mistake by Bogaerts. Well, Dallas Keuchel has been taken off the hook. 2-1 the count. Trying to listen in for the ruling on that play.
I heard somebody get assists on.
Well, yeah, they.
What?
Ground ball to second. Pedroia comes on. He'll feed on to Bogarts. They'll get the force this time, and that'll do it for the Astros. But that's one out late for the Red Sox as the Astros put a key run on the board and have tied it.
Astros and the Red Sox. Create memories, have fun, and enjoy a premium experience with an Astros luxury suite at Minute Maid Park. We will create an experience your group is sure to remember. Call the Astros premium ticket line at 1-877-9-ASTROS to reserve your luxury suite today. Before the game, there were some roster moves made. The guys mentioned them earlier. LJ Ho's being optioned to AAA in order to get some more bats while he was down there. Lefty Kevin Chapman is up with the club now, but that would put 3 lefties in the bullpen. However, Bo Porter talked about this earlier. Darren Downs, the lefty who pitched in relief last night, was dealing with a little bit of a tweaked oblique after the game. So he was not available tonight, will not probably be available tomorrow. They're going to check it out in the next couple of days to see how he's feeling, but they did not want to be down a guy, especially a lefty, in the bullpen, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Julia. And yes, this is kind of fun, I guess, huh?
It's entertaining to say the least.
The way they ruled that play, it's a fielder's choice enabling Matt Dominguez to reach. He does not get an RBI, and then they entitled Gregorio Petit with scoring as they rule an error on the catcher Christian Vasquez, and so there you go. I don't know what Vasquez did wrong on the play.
Threw it to a pitcher.
That's a good response. 3-3, bottom of the 8th inning, and Jose Veras on now to work, and he brings a strike. He is facing the 2, 3, 4 spots. Dustin Pedroia, David Ortiz, and Yoenis Cespedes. So Dallas Keuchel went 7 very good innings tonight.
Sure did. Good pitching by Clay Buchholz, too. These guys aren't going to figure in the decision in this game, but they pitched very well.
In fact, statistically better for Buchholz. 2 earnings in 7 innings, 9 strikeouts. Keuchel had 3 earnings charged against him in 7 innings, 8 strikeouts along the way. The 1-1 to Pedroia. The Astros have 9 hits. The Red Sox 6. 1 error on the board. That charge to Christian Vasquez.
It's interesting considering Badenhop is the guy that dropped it.
Yeah. Was there something wrong with that toss?
Again, it was to a pitcher.
I got you. Ground ball to short. Coming on to take it on a second hop, Marwin. He'll make the play, and out number 1 here in the 8th.
I was curious. We'll go back and look at that play again. I was talking about Gregorio Petit, who's running from second base, and we might have a chance to look at it here on the back end of this play. See Lizdash waving him no matter what. And I thought he had a pretty good chance of getting in there. The throw wasn't all that great coming from Pedroia. Nonetheless, it's a run scored for Gregorio. I think Chris Carter could have pulled that move off.
Well, and that's a good point, because the pinch running job is what gets you the run to tie the ball game.
Yep.
No longer have the bat of Chris Carter in a tie game, but you are in a tie game. David Ortiz takes a strike. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. Got an infield single in the 4th inning. Red Sox put 2 on the board in that 4th. The Astros with a run in the 5th. Runs in the 7th and 8th, and the Red Sox added their 3rd in the 7th. Shift on for Big Papi, and the crowd chanting Papi. Fly ball left center field, easy for Fowler. Out number 2.
Astros breathe a sigh of relief, get Big Papi out in that situation right there. Usually he thrives in those situations to put teams ahead.
Now another big bat, Yoenis Cespedes, who's 1 for 3. But that one was huge, a 2-run bomb in the 4th inning, his 20th of the year.
His first home run as a Red Sox player here in Fenway.
Tony Sipp gets it loose in the Astros pen. Yeah, I was just thinking, I'd love to hear my hero Vin Scully call that play.
And he'd do it immaculately too.
Yeah.
He'd make us look like clowns. He's good. But that would be fun to hear what he had to say about that one.
Good changeup. Splitter. 0-2 the count.
Pretty filthy. It's a good call. I think we could send him a tape and have him just voice it over for us.
It's not fair. You have to go sight unseen on that play.
We could just ambush it with it one day.
It's just fouled back.
You were on that, Ash.
Yeah. I saw you working toward it too. I was calling you off though.
I was protecting my monitor. Can't take out my monitor. I have to watch the game on the field.
Tell you what, but some years ago I used to get one after another of balls coming back to the booth. I actually, at this stage of things, prefer it this way, with just balls that are semi-close.
Just the mere threat instead of the actual assault.
One and 2 the count.
We got one up here last year.
Yeah, I think that was all yours, though.
I got yelled at for it. As I recall, your stage manager, Kelly.
Oh, here in Boston?
It was here in Boston, yeah, man. See us right here. I was sitting in your seat, actually, and it was freezing. I was sitting on my hands. Came up, and Kelly, you can see stage manager right here, Kelly Emerson back here. I gave it a casual duck. I had no idea she was behind me, and she almost took it on the chops, but thankfully she didn't. It hit the window up top, but I was bailing, and she proceeded to air me out, but for good reason.
Deservedly
too, yeah.
so. What the worst thing is when you get one of these little tip flips that come off the upper window or the lower sill or whatever the case is.
Little redirection.
And, yes. Like your gal down the right field side took tonight. Two and 2 on Cespedes. Now things were moving a little too quickly.
They wanted to hear our whole story.
Well, they're going to have time because Castro goes to the mound.
Well, it reminds me of a time in Anaheim where it's kind of a similar situation, but you know, with the TV cameras and the lights are above us, and it came back, and I reached up and I proceeded to clank it, and it ricocheted off one of the lights and shot around the back of behind us, and the camera guy was yelling at me. And, yeah. Yeah, but you know,
Quiggs got it.
Eventually, when it stopped rolling, he went over and picked it up.
So he went Bob Uecker on it. Huh?
Exactly.
Got him swinging. Nowhere close, but Cespedes down on strikes. The tag applied by Jason Castro, and a 1-2-3 8th inning for Jose Veras. We're tied at 3. Coming up for the Astros here in this 9th inning. They'll do it against the closer of the Red Sox, Koji Uehara, out of Japan. And he has been dynamite for the Red Sox. 36 hits allowed in 55 and 2/3 innings. 26 saves on the year and a 129 earning. Wow.
This guy's pretty good.
You know what? If the Red Sox were vying to win the division, I'd say his name would come up for MVP.
Well, how about that strikeout to walk ratio? I mean, he was putting up fantastic numbers last year and shutting down games for them when they were doing so well. Yep. But 70 strikeouts and I think 55 and 2/3 innings that I saw, and only 7 walks.
You know, last year in that championship year, he had a 1.09 ERA.
09?
1.09 in 73 games.
It's not fair.
And yes, he was mentioned in the MVP voting. He was 19th last year.
Kelly Johnson's playing second base. Dustin Pedroia is out of there. That's interesting.
Yeah, I wonder what happened with Pedroia.
Yeah, but there should be MVP votes for a guy like that on a ball club that wins the World Series. That's pretty amazing numbers.
So Uehara on to work it here in the 9th inning. He'll start it with Marwin, who is 1 for 3 on the night. Marwin puts it in the air to center field. Very easy for Bradley. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Robbie Grossman with a big swing this afternoon. Earlier with the double down the right field line, and then a base hit, driving in a run. It's accounted for 2 of these 3 runs for the Houston Astros. That was the big one right there off of Clay Buchholz. Tie that ball game back up. Got himself a cutter, but being aggressive early in the count, getting some pitches to hit, not missing them.
Well, Robbie Grossman at the plate. 3 hits on the night. He's singled, doubled, and homered. So obviously the triple shy of the cycle. See if we can slip in with Julia here in just a moment.
It's a good place to hit a triple too. You drive one out in that triangle where the 420 sign is in center field.
That's a great yard for that.
Could run for a while.
Koji Uehara, like so many of the Japanese pitchers, a great splitter. And there it is. It's 0-2 on Robbie. Let's check in with Julia.
Hey, Ash, well, just catching up with Robbie, there's a lot of things he's been working on with hitting Coach John Maley that have been done in the last couple of weeks. And as we've watched him, he's really been feeling good at the plate. To get in specifics, what maybe do that tomorrow, but there have been some things, and they really are showing here lately, and he's feeling really good right now.
Boy, are they ever. Now, Robbie's been very good. He lines one to the gap in left center field. On the move and getting there to make the play, Cespedes. Second out here in the 9th inning. Nice play defensively for the Sox.
Good swing by Robbie again. Hit that ball well. Pretty casual effort from Yoenis. Had it the whole way.
You can see how Robbie stayed on that pitch. Tough pitch down and away, and yet getting the barrel to it.
He's keeping those hands back nicely. Doing a good job of getting the barrel to the ball these days.
Brings up Jose Altuve. He's had a long night, 0 for 4. Had 1 hit in last night's game. And that batting average sliding a bit, .335. Well, if Uehara gets that pitch, that's going to help.
Sure is.
If he gets the defense he got on the previous play, line drive to the gap. But to account for his numbers, you got to go beyond that. 1-1 on Jose. Altuve with 5 bombs on the year. This would not be a bad spot.
If you could just get Uehara to make a mistake.
Ground ball to third. Well, Altuve 0 for 5 as the Astros will head out and try to protect things in the bottom of the 9th inning. A 3-3 tie here. Game 2 from Fenway. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Cars go very fast here in Boston
In the middle of the night.
Ball games don't go really fast. It's 3-3 here in the 9th inning. Mike Napoli, Xander Bogaerts, and Will Middlebrooks. That's 5, 6, 7 for the Red Sox. On for a second inning, Jose Veras. Napoli has reached all 3 plate appearances, a couple of walks and a double. "32 years of age now, Napoli." Oof, it's a big swing on that first pitch fastball.
A lot of the plate.
I have a feeling Napoli had some intention there on that swing.
Put his beard into that one.
That could hurt.
Do some damage.
Napoli hit a big go-ahead and eventual winning home run for the Red Sox in Cincinnati a couple of days ago. Takes a strike. It's 0-2. Most of the crowd has hung on here in Boston. And that fastball fouled off. Surprised to see Napoli get another heater to hit right there.
Especially in an 0-2 count. You got room to waste one right here. Maybe try and set up that curveball or slider. You can see Vera shaking his head, probably thinking the same thing. Ooh-wee.
That's if you're a hitter, that's not a bad spot to get a pitch with a couple of strikes.
That pitch thrown in an 0-1-0-0 count gets crushed.
Barris with the 0-2 once again. Tries to front door one and almost gets it. See how well Napoli took that. The front side never flew.
Held his ground nicely.
That's the way you lay off pitches, because the body's in the right position. Strike three called. Maybe off that outside corner, but that's been in play much of the night. Strikeout number 10 of Red Sox hitters.
Money pitch right there. Not much you can do about that. If you're Mike Napoli, just tip your cap and say, you got me.
With one out, it brings up the shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Takes a strike at the knees. Red Sox had that early 2-0 lead on the home run by Cespedes, and it looked like it might be trouble. Buchholz was sailing along and punching out a bunch of hitters. The Astros clawed back in. And Robbie Grossman just had an enormous swing in the 7th inning, a 2-out solo home run to tie the game. Red Sox added one, and the Astros had to pick up another run in the 8th inning. And we don't even want to try to describe that for you. Popped up on the right side. Singleton calling on the outfield grass. He'll make the catch. And out number 2 here in the ninth.
You don't think that call is going to go on our highlight reel?
You know, I haven't even tried to reflect back and think of what came out on that one, but
I think you were actually calling it, and I was in here over on my side going, what? I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
That was kind of a mess going on, but when it was all said and done, runs scored. Gregorio Petit did a heck of a job on that play.
Sure did.
As did Dexter Fowler, quite frankly, getting into second.
I'd have blown an Achilles, an ACL, and maybe snapped my collarbone on that play.
We almost did in the booth. Breaking ball for a strike.
It's very true.
I would have to say the key to the play, aside from the two guys we just mentioned, was Bogaerts making the wrong choice, flipping to second rather than throwing to first on Matt Dominguez.
It's amazing, isn't it? That replay really showed it. When Xander had that ball, Matt Dominguez was only halfway to first. Plenty of time to throw him out.
It's Will Middlebrooks at the plate. A ball and a strike. Well, this guy came on with a bang a couple of years ago. But he has really struggled hitting 176. Here's the play as Bogaerts picks up the ground ball.
And it wasn't even an aggressive toss to second base, but he had plenty of time to get Matty D going down first. Then the ensuing chaos.
And a jubilant Petit as he scored that tying run. Reviews followed, and when it was all said and done, the Astros had scored the run. And again, from our perspective, I don't see that there was any reason to think that it was going to be overturned anywhere. Three and one on Middlebrooks. Boy, he takes one right there to hit.
I think both you and I took swings at that one up here.
I wanted to.
A good pitch to hit, 3-1. But when you're hitting 176, there's that just little shred of doubt in your mind.
Middlebrooks in 2012 came up to the Red Sox, played in 75 games, hit 15 home runs while hitting .288. But it has just gone the other direction since. How about that for some confidence? A 3-2 slider from Barris.
Well, the last thing you want is to get beat by a guy hitting 176.
Did you bring your pajamas?
Oh man, I got snacks, I got pajamas. I am set.
What's gotten into you?
I'm prepared. Saw how much fun you guys had the other day.
All four, so a 2-out walk, and that'll bring up Jackie Bradley Jr.
Last thing you want to do too is give up a game-winning home run, but you also don't want to walk the guy hitting a .176, and that's going to bring Bo out.
So Bo Porter coming out. He'll point for the left-hander. Left-handed bat of Jackie Bradley Jr. coming to the plate, and Bo continues to want to go with that option. It hasn't paid off time after time. But now the left-hander will come in, Tony Sipp, as he'll work it with 2 outs and a runner aboard here in the 9th inning in a 3-3 tie. Brooks, left-handed bat of Jackie Bradley Jr. coming to the plate. He's 0 for 3, and Tony Sipp will face him here in the 9th.
It's a good thing for Houston Astros fans. Tony Sipp, 41st appearance, good numbers on the year. The opponent batting average quite low, but in 15 career appearances versus the Red Sox, Sipp has posted a 0.64 ERA. Quite comfortable facing these Red Sox. That's 1 earned run in 14 innings pitched. Looking to continue that success here. Extend this ball game a little bit more.
Tony Sipp wanted to throw another warm-up pitch. After the previous one, he started rubbing up the baseball, and everybody basically said, okay, so he's done. And then Tony tried to sneak in one more. But he will face Jackie Bradley Jr. Bradley hitting .211. I mentioned last night that on the previous day in Cincinnati, Bradley got a base hit, and it was a rare one. It snapped an 0 for 35. Sipp misses up and in.
Sipp got himself a bases loaded walk last night against Darren Downs.
It's a ball and a strike.
Some heat right there from Sipp. 93.
Matt Dominguez drawn in on the third base side. As Sipp brings the 1-1. Hit in the air to left field, but not deep. Easy for Grossman. And that'll do it. Extra innings we go in a 3-3 tie. And long. Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side. We are tied at 3. Going to the 10th. Left-hander Craig Breslow comes in now to work it for the Red Sox. Breslow, pitcher number 6 for John Farrell. Got a peek of Breslow last night. He's 34 years of age. Played with the Padres, the Indians, the Twins, Oakland A's, Diamondbacks, and now in his 3rd season with the Red Sox.
It's with Craig in both San Diego and Arizona. Good guy. Gets stumped in a crossword puzzle. You can always go over and ask Craig. He's got a pretty good idea how to fill it in for you.
So he actually shows off the smarts in all those practical ways.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's there when you need him.
That's good. He's got a lifetime .301 ERA in 9 seasons in the big leagues. He's 22 and 22. And he's picked up 6 saves along the way. Starts things with a ball away. Gregorio Petit. This is the Chris Carter spot in the order. The 3 spot for Houston. And Carter went 2 for 4 on the night, but after that second hit in the 8th inning, came leading off. Bo Porter went to the bench for Petit, and for good reasons. Petit is now 1 for 1 with a leadoff single. And he was instrumental in getting the Astros to this point. A great job of base running to score that tying 3rd run.
Had himself a pretty productive night. Scored the tying run, now a rip up the middle to lead off this 10th inning.
You know, he's played some really good baseball for the club. I think he's kind of come out of nowhere. Dexter Fowler at the plate. He is 1 for 3. He's also drawn a walk. That one hit, a big one. It came right after the Carter base hit. Little pop fly down the left field side. Very well placed. Dropped amongst 3 defenders. And Dexter hitting .270. Petit may look like that guy that would steal a bag. He is yet to steal one in the big leagues. Fowler bunts it first base side, and a good one, and he is safe, beating it out. Just sprinting down the line, and when it's all said and done, the first 2 hitters reach here in the 10th inning. It'll be a bunt single for Dexter.
Such a tough play for his second baseman, and this is Kelly Johnson, who's played a lot of second base in his career, who came in for Dustin Pedroia. But anytime you see a guy square around a push bunt as a second baseman, you got to go towards the play in case it gets by the first baseman. And once you see that guy making the play, you got to head over to first base and hopefully make the play. Not an easy position to be in. One you'd like to see made. But Fowler beats it. And now you've got yourself in a great situation if you're the Houston Astros.
Now that works out just beautifully for Houston. And a good call at the bag at first.
It really was.
So nobody out. Runners at first and second here in the 10th inning. Jason Castro comes to the plate.
2 good hustle plays by Dexter Fowler in this game tonight.
Snap throw down to second base. Vasquez likes to throw. And back in safely is Petit. He continues to have a very strong and alert evening. Castro, Singleton, and Dominguez lined up. Breslow from the stretch. Swing by Jason. It's a ball and a strike. Castro with a couple of strikeouts tonight. One likely quite costly in the 8th inning. The Astros, like this inning, got leadoff hits by Carter and Fowler. But then Castro and Singleton struck out before Magic erupted. That Magic on a fielder's choice, grounded into by Matt Dominguez.
Just how they drew it up.
The 1-1. And that drills him, and that'll load him up. So you get a base hit by Petit. Then a bunt single by Fowler, a hit batter to Castro. Bases juice, nobody out for John Singleton. The infield for the Red Sox is drawing in.
That wasn't even close. That one just got away from Breslow.
Right-hander Junichi Tazawa is loosening for the Red Sox. Pitching coach Juan Nieves comes to the mound.
This might be one of the stall tactics we've seen from the Houston Astros, sending out the pitching coach to have a chat, extend this out a little bit, and give Tazawa a chance to get loose. I don't think anybody in that Red Sox dugout, or even up here for that matter, anticipated this inning spiraling out of control this quickly.
Is it spiraling or swirling?
Oh, it's spiraling in a hurry. Tornado-ish.
John Farrell, a lot to ponder right here. And the hopes are high for the Astros for the moment. So the left-hander Breslow will stay on to face the left-handed bat of John Singleton. And we've talked about it. Singleton much better against lefties so far this year than against righties.
Having himself a rough night, though. That can all go away with one swing of the bat.
0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. He's drawn a walk.
His grand slam this year came off a left-hander up in Minnesota for Glenn Perkins.
Hit that grand slam on the same day that saw Chris Carter hit a grand slam. Astros had a big and happy day. Pitch is hammered, but hook foul down the right field side.
Buggy whipped.
That was barrel and only barrel. What a golden opportunity here in the 10th inning. Keep in mind the Astros have never found a way to win here at Fenway Park. 8 consecutive losses. Can they find that way this evening, game 2 of this 4-game set? At the end of this series, the two clubs will be done with each other. Hit in the air, center field shallow. Bradley coming under. Tagging at third, Petit. The catch is made. Petit is held. And a good strong throw to the plate. Slightly offline. Might they have been able to score? We'll never know. And one big out.
That's a huge out.
And that brings out John Farrell once again. Second visit in the inning. So Breslow is done. Tazawa will come on to work it. He'll be the 7th pitcher of the night for the Boston Red Sox. And take a look at this throw.
Tell you what, yeah, it was yanked and a little bit offline, but for Jackie Bradley Jr., I'm pretty impressed with the arm strength.
Yeah. Well, they say he can play center field with just about anybody.
That's a hose right there.
So it's one out. To the bullpen once again we go. Tied at 3. Here in the 10th inning, they get the first 3 hitters aboard. They have the bases loaded. Singleton flied to shallow center and no run scoring on the play. And now Junichi Tazawa comes on. Pitcher number 7 for the Boston Red Sox. Japanese-born pitcher, 28 years of age. And now in his 57th appearance on the season.
Again, good numbers out of that bullpen. 50 innings, only 13 walks, 52 strikeouts.
You know what you've got here once again with one out. You've got Matt Dominguez at the plate. And for Matt, he's going to find a way to keep the ball off the ground. Grounded into a double play in the second inning. He's 0 for 4 on the night. It was Matt Dominguez hitting that one hopper to shortstop in the 8th inning that resulted in the tying run of the ball game. Matt was awarded a fielder's choice, no RBI on the play. But
a big RBI.
Time to produce a run. Pops it up on the right side. Tazawa's first pitch popped up, and there's out number 2. So the bases remain loaded. 2 outs, and Jake Marisnick comes to the plate.
You have got to be hoping that Jake Marisnick pulls something out of the hat right here. Bases loaded, nobody out, and you don't get out of this inning with a run.
So we're down to it. Tazawa gets a sign and comes set. Marisnick takes a ball. Very close pitch. Buchholz, Mujica, Lane, Badenhop, Uehara, Breslow, and Tazawa on the mound for the Red Sox. The Astros have utilized 3 pitchers tonight. In need of a big hit. 2-0 the count, or
crazy if Tazawa walked in a run.
How do you play this if you're Marisnick? Do you force him to throw another strike here, or a strike? I would think so.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, is this next pitch going to be the best pitch you see in the at bat?
It's always the big question, isn't it? It's why it's so tough to step back in the box and say, I'm going to take this one. Here comes the 2-0. Swinging, looping it down the right side, dropping. And it drops fair. Kicks into the seats. It's a 2-run double. A 2-out shot by Jake Marisnick as he swings on the 2-0 and plates a pair. 5-3 Houston.
Sometimes you need a little bit of a gift to help you get out of these jams, don't you, Ash?
Sometimes you need to get rid of some evidence that a partner of yours keeps around that might be betraying the efforts on the night.
Don't try and aim this towards me. I'm not the one up there with nobody out, bases juiced, and it takes a blow-up job for the Astros to finally push some runs across the board here in the 10th inning.
Runs 4 and 5 on the double by Jake Marisnick. Runners now at second and third. Ah, how about that one? Bleed me a river. And that has silenced the folks here in Boston. And a lot of them now heading for the exits. Should make the walk back very nice.
It will be. Conversation's going to be a little bit better now, at least for us when we walk back.
Trying to bunt is Marwin Gonzalez.
Whatever it takes.
He's got Jason Castro as his runner at third base. And yeah, I wonder what went through the head and body of Castro right there.
Well, if the ball's on the ground, just go. I don't know. Marwin's been swinging the bat better for me than having to bunt right there. But two out, 2-0 duck snort for 2 RBIs. How about that?
Haven't seen anything prettier all night long.
Oh, man.
Oh, and 2 the count. And just outside.
Something wrong with Chad Qualls, or are we going to leave Tony Sipp out there to close this game out?
Starting to look like Tony Sipp's going to go for the 9th inning because the bullpen for the Astros is quiet. These runs charged to Breslow. Count stays at 1-2. Wow, this has been an intriguing game. It looked like a game that was just going to sail along with Dallas Keuchel and Clay Buchholz both pitching so well. And then you get in that tie game scenario and the bullpen's coming in, and it has really bogged down. And the Astros with 2 outs here in the 10th inning, managing that hit you just mentioned. You know, it's a great way for Jake Marisnick to break in with the Astros and have this kind of success and have that kind of a swing that brings smiles and a good time with your teammates.
Yeah, that's a good way to endear yourself to the fans and your teammates. You're right. I'm a big fan of him right now.
That double by Marisnick, his 3rd of the year. Tazawa gets Gonzalez on strikes, and that'll do it. But with 2 outs, the Astros get the big 2-run double by Marisnick and lead it 5-3. In the spotlight, that 2-run double with 2 outs. He took Jeff Blum's approach, swinging on the 2-0, and made it pay off.
You got to be aggressive right there. Glad he was. I mean, it wasn't a 2-out bullet you were looking for until we read the papers tomorrow and you see that he got a 10th inning double.
I saw a bullet. That's exactly what I saw. Now, he's gotten some cheapies, but some guys that have that ability to get some cheapies turn out to be some pretty good hitters.
Yeah, they do. Well, that's how you salvage your day, too. That was his 2nd hit on the day. 2 RBIs here in the 10th.
Back to the 8th inning we go. Yeah, this was the exciting play. Matt Dominguez, a 1-hopper to short. They try to get the out at second, not in time. And Petit comes to the plate, and when it's all said and done, scores. They had a couple of reviews on the play. Fowler was called safe at second, and no problems there at the plate. And then 2 outs, Jake Marisnick with this little fister, bleeder, pop down the right field side, plating a pair, and the Astros lead 5-3. in this bid now to win their first ever at Fenway Park.
That play in the 8th inning was a little something out of the American Ninja Warrior competition I've been watching with the girls at home. Bit of an obstacle course for Petit to get across home plate.
How do you do on that rock climbing portion of the event?
Pretty solid, man. He's headed through there.
Had some tasty bats here in the league these days.
Grief.
9-hitter Christian Vasquez at the plate, 1 for 3.
Pine tar diet.
He had a big 2-out hit with nobody aboard in the 7th inning. Was wild pitched into second base and scored on a Brock Holt base hit to give at the time the Red Sox the 3-2 lead.
Qualls is up throwing now in the Astros bullpen.
2 balls, no strikes on Vasquez. I guess you couldn't count on this going down easily. It's like that big old pill that you know you can't swallow. 3-0 the count. Jose Altuve going to come to the mound. What do you think was said right there?
Relax, do what you do against this team, and we'll get out of here.
Tony Sipp doesn't like that baseball.
I'll tell you what, when you're not winning a lot of ball games and you know you have a chance to sneak out with your first win in a ballpark in a situation like this, you know, everybody at home or whoever's watching is not saying, well, you know, this is the World Series. But you know what? For these guys on the field, this is a big win. This win breaks the seal here at Fenway. And it also gives them 51 wins that match what they did last year.
Sipp finds the strike zone. Yeah.
So I mean, this is a huge experience for the guys that are in that dugout and on the field right now.
I wondered 2 days ago if the Astros coming into Fenway Park yesterday were really aware that the club had lost 7 times in 7 games at Fenway Park. But after last night's game, I imagine they were posed with the question.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's too much coverage, too much. The media cycle is just, there's too much information out there for them not to know.
3-2 the count. So taking all the way Vasquez. Yeah, so I think it's probably now become an issue.
But you know, maybe in the back of their heads, I'm not sure it's at the forefront as much as
I agree.
Just winning baseball games right now for them is.
Well, they're the youngest roster in Major League Baseball, and they're all fighting for jobs.
And don't forget where you're at, too. You're at Fenway.
Strike 3, a foul tip hung on to by Castro, and out number 1 after falling behind 3-0.
Great job of coming back by Tony Sipp to get the strikeout.
Back to the top of the order, Brock Holt, 2 for 4 on his night. Think this guy likes seeing the Astros come to town?
Just a bit. Interesting to have Kelly Johnson on deck, the left-handed hitter who came in for Dustin Pedroia.
Have you heard any word yet on Pedroia?
Well, the thing that I recall from earlier in the game is there was a foul ball. Remember, he fouled a ball off his foot or off his shin, off of Dallas Keuchel, and I'm not sure if that was it. But that's really the only damage that I could see happening that would push Pedroia to go into the clubhouse and come out of this game.
That pitch called inside. It's 1-1. So if you look at what Holt has done over his career, and it's brief, but against the Astros, he is 12 for 19. That's a .632 batting average, in case you've never bothered figuring 12 for 19 before.
I've never seen those numbers before.
He skies one left center field. Should be easy for Fowler. He'll make the catch, and 2 down here in the 10th inning. The Astros 1 out away from snapping this 8-game skid at Fenway.
There's a lot going on here in this game, Ash. Breaking the seal for the Houston Astros here at Fenway. Tying the wins for last year, but it's also Ben Affleck's birthday.
Uh-oh.
And you know what? The Boston Red Sox are 0-14 on August 15th since the release of the movie Good Will Hunting.
Get out.
That's a stat for you.
Ben Affleck is regarded as one of their biggest fans.
Absolutely,
right? Yeah.
and they have not won on his birthday.
Wow, that's bizarre. I wonder if he's taken that personally. So with a loss tonight, the Red Sox would make it a perfect 0-15?
Yes.
Wow. So that would come first on that list of breakthroughs tonight if that were to happen.
Yeah.
Tony Sipp trying to not allow that, as an 0-1 count on Kelly Johnson.
Good eye.
Laid off on a pitch. Might have been close on the hop.
Might have been a wicked googly in cricket.
Is that what they call it? A googly?
I have no idea. I'm just
You know, we're in the 10th inning. I'm going to go with it. Okay?
Exactly. I say in extra innings you can make words up.
A ball and a strike for Kelly Johnson, his first plate appearance of the night. Hits one sharply, but the shift on right there, Marwin, and that'll do it. The Astros finally break the streak. They've won their first at Fenway, and they've won their 51st on the year. And Ben Affleck, you're going to have to wait till next year. 5-3, Astros win over the Red Sox, and Tony Sipp, a great job to close it out.
Tying the amount of wins that they had last year at 51. They are now moving into bonus territory with every win they